Welcome into episode 252. Tonight, we're going to talk speculations. We're going to talk about
Are we?
is it trues, all this other good stuff today. And we might have a special guest later. If he can make it, he's going to join us. Hopefully, Dave Boyd from All Train Nation will be in on us on this. And the reason I wanted to kind of talk to him a little bit, because Friday on our Member Live, we were chatting a little bit about some things that came out. Bronco truck came out, Lincoln truck. I know he did a video on it and everything. And I thought, man, it'd be really good because then he could really talk about the Lincoln Bronco and what he thinks it might look like. And then he's also a truck owner, and I think he had a Gladiator at one time. Yeah. So I thought he'd be a perfect person to talk to about a Bronco truck as well. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to have it on. So he said he'd try to join us if he can. He's got plans right now, but hopefully he'll finish those up and he'll be able to join us here when we're ready for that. So how's it going? How was your weekend?
Pretty good.
You have to think about it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So I'm like, what did I do this weekend? I don't remember. I worked.
Saturday, Will has gymnastics, so we do gymnastics. And then, we went to Joyful Noise. It is a play space downtown. Inside, they have little tiny homes funded by different businesses around town. So like Chick-fil-A has a storefront. They have Salina Homes has a storefront or has a little house where you can play house. They have a fitness center that one of our gyms here finances. And so it has like a little trampoline and a kid's treadmill. They have a slide tower. They have a climbing tower. They have a baby space for 2 and under. It's really nice, really cute. The windows, so it's downtown. Those storefronts all have window spaces. They've left those open, and they have like a playhouse on one side and a puppet show on the other. So you can sit in the windows. There's places for parents to sit. They have snacks, drinks, everything. So we went in there. Day pass is not too expensive. It's about $11. And you can be there from 10 a.m. when they open to 6 p.m. when they close. So it is all day long, and you can leave and come back too. So we did that Saturday. We kept coming back. Sticky the Destroyer, a.k.a. my youngest. We tried Nutella and Go, which are those little breadsticks and Nutella.
Yeah.
And he just dunked his entire hand in it and got himself messy. So I cleaned him up once when we went home. We went back, came back out, and I was talking to someone, and I turned around, and he had done it again. And so he's just like rubbing his hands together with chocolate, and I'm just like, we call him
not Play-Doh.
We call him Sticky the Destroyer because every time we turn around, he's sticky and or destroying something. So Sticky the Destroyer just chocolified my car.
I will say he does like Play-Doh too. Your mom doesn't like because a lot of Play-Doh has gluten in it. You guys don't realize, and so she does not like the kids play with Play-Doh because she's allergic to it. But
yeah,
anyway.
So he chocolified my car. I need to post those pictures because he put it on the outside of my car. Like I have handprints on my car made out of chocolate.
To be honest, from what I understand from your mother, it looks like poop on this car too.
It does. Kyle called me this morning. He's like, did you know that you have chocolate on your
he actually said it was chocolate.
I was like, yes.
Anyway. Oh gosh.
So that was our Saturday. Sunday, you took Will. We were supposed to go to the library.
I didn't take him.
Mom took him. We were supposed to go to the library, but because we like going there, we rent the movies, we rent some Switch games, and then that holds us over for the week. We return them, and actually 2 weeks. So we go every 2 weeks or so.
Oh yeah.
They get to pick out games. They get to pick out a couple of movies that we get to watch instead of streaming services and things like that. But we couldn't find one of the Switch game cases to return it. So we turned the entire house upside down. We deep cleaned. We pulled the couch out. We moved. Lebo went out and dumped the trash bags because it got to that point. We couldn't find it. Mom came and got Will. And then we were like, yeah, Theo can't go anywhere because he's the one that lost it. Can't find it. We searched their bedrooms. I went through their toys. Everything had been gone through. We have a TV stand. Finally, after several hours, we had both given up. Theo went to go find markers from the cabinet. It was there on top of the markers, up against the glass of the thing, so I couldn't see it. So we found it after hours of searching everything.
So I heard it's always in the last place you look.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So it's just yeah. So we ended up staying home.
I worked hard on videos. I was here till about close to 8 p.m. on Saturday. Pretty much almost a 12-hour shift on my half day.
Right.
So, but we got those videos out for you guys. Bronco Sport, Maverick, they're all done. Got those out and scheduled out on Sunday and finished up. But then your brother called and said, "Hey, can one of you ride with me to Wichita? I want to go look at a bird that I'm looking to adopt or to purchase or whatever." It's 4 months old or whatever. And so we went down. I rode down there with him and his mach-e. So we
he wasn't gonna get it.
Yeah, he wasn't planning to get it. He wanted to look, had a lot of questions and everything. Asked this question, wanted to make sure he felt comfortable with it. He has a little social anxiety, but he did well and asked all the questions. He was pretty prepared and he had done his research. He's been researching this for a while. It's a conure, right? How do you say it? Conure, something like that. Anyway, he went ahead and purchased it.
It's a pineapple something.
I said, why don't you just? I said, if you already know you want it, instead of put a deposit down and come back later, let's get it now. Do you have everything ready? He goes, well, I need a cage for it. I said, well, there's a PetSmart in town. Let's go get PetSmart. Let's just do this.
Yeah.
One trip instead of two. Anyway, so he ended up going home with the bird, which he wasn't planning on, and a cage and everything. But he's enjoying it. So anyway, so he's got a pet. So
he's asking me questions. We found out that chickens and parakeets are not related. They're two different species. They are part of avians because they have feathers, wings, and whatnot. But they are two different species. But we found out that there are similarities and what the differences are. So we were talking today about molting. I was like, "Oh, is he molting?" And he goes, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's where they drop their feathers and they grow new ones." And if he's pretty young, I bet he's molting. And he's like, "Oh," so he looked up. He's like, "Yeah, that's probably why he's so irritated and whatnot and uncomfortable." Yeah, he's molting. I'm like, yeah.
He's not clipping the wings. He wants to have a free flight bird. And so it's been flying around in his apartment a little bit, but it's been doing pretty good, getting used to it. So it's fun for him. Anyway, I'm just enjoying no kids, no pets at this point. It's just the two of us. It's, it's hard enough for your mom to just maintain me, let alone any pets. It's got to look after me. Got to make sure I get fed.
Yeah.
Make sure I do my laundry.
Yeah, I do have 2 confirmed roosters at this point. So gotta figure out which rooster we're keeping.
Yep. All right, haven't mentioned this yet, but don't. If you're new to the channel, you're probably going, "What is?" I thought this was about automotive, not birds and other stuff. But yes, we like to chit chat. This is a podcast. It's people get to know us as people, and so we like to talk a little bit about what's going on in our lives a little bit. So hopefully you guys didn't get turned off by that, but hopefully you did. Maybe it was kind of comical for you, but hit that subscribe button if you're new. We do a lot of Ford content. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, you get notified. We do a lot of videos, a Maverick Monday video, a Built Wild Wednesday on Wednesdays for Bronco Sport. We do some performance videos, some of the performance builds we do. So check all those out. We do have membership available if you'd like to sign up for membership. That kind of goes to Sarah and I. So if you want to do that, plus it's just kind of fun. On the YouTube, I recommend you just go with the $199 tier. The other tiers are for people that have been members for a long time that are just wanting to support us. And so I'm just leaving those in there. $199 will get you access to anything that we do on YouTube, which is getting your name mentioned in our live stream here if you're on Tuesday night, and then also a member live stream on Friday. So it goes live, and then I go ahead and make it unlisted at that point. And so we don't want people that don't want to be a membership feel like they're losing out at anything. And then on Patreon is where we do a lot of the membership stuff. So that one over there, I do almost a daily video over there called Coffee Time with Tim. So you can look at that tier. It's $5. And then the $3 tier is our lot walk. And that's where you can also see the recording of our live stream that we did on Friday. So anyway, some other stuff in there. So check that out if you want to support us in any way. We appreciate it. And yeah, that's all we'll say about that. So good stuff there. And so what else is going on? Like I said, we completed all the videos for Maverick and such like that. And yeah, so we're going to talk about Bronco. We're going to talk about Bronco truck, Lincoln Bronco, maybe this $25,000 SUV. What's it going to look like? What's the possibilities and all that kind of stuff based on some articles that we have, because anything that I've seen or heard from I didn't go to the dealer meeting, so I didn't really get any information from the dealer meeting, but anything like that, 4-door Mustang, some of that stuff, some things we can confirm, some things we can't. So we'll talk about that tonight here in just a little bit. But first, we're going to talk about some dealer news. There's a couple of things in here, but before we do that, we're going to do member shout outs. Let's do that. Who all's in here tonight?
We're going to start this off with Dad's not bringing it up. Sorry, my computer's. Adam's back.
Adam.
He's a member again.
Oh, he's a member? I thought he was been a member this whole time. Little do we know.
He hasn't been here for a while. So he actually said there's a reason.
Yeah?
I mean, he's on the coast, right?
He's in Florida.
Oh, he's in Florida.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe that doesn't make sense. But he says, my IT is too good. He locked down live streams on my office network.
I'll tell you that I still feel like our IT still is slowing down our Facebook here, because if we use the Wi-Fi on our phones, it just is slow. But if I kick off the Wi-Fi, it's real fast. So I'm like, I think he's slowing that down.
From what I understand, he's using a blocker to keep it from anything harmful.
Spyware. Getting downloaded on our network, which I get. So I'm just like,
I'll
just use my phone.
All right, we have Clarence Roller. Is the Fathom going to have a first edition? I have a 22 Maverick first edition. Just curious.
I don't know.
Don't know yet.
No word about that. I don't think so. They didn't make a first edition on a Lightning. They did on a well, did they do I don't think they did a first edition on the mach-e. I think they did a California edition. That's a little different.
I bet if they hear that there's a market for it, who knows what they'll put.
The thing of it is I don't think they will, because on the Maverick, it was a package you ordered. It wasn't limited in any way, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't limited to so many. It was just a package you ordered on the Maverick. So that's a possibility if they make it that way. Now, when they did a first edition on the Bronco, it was limited to numbers. And I think they're going to struggle to do that, because if there's a lot of people want this, and there's how to order this could be mixed. And that might be, I don't know. My gut says no, but we don't know for sure. So we'll have to see. I could see it being a trim or a package.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility, and not make it a limited edition.
Yeah, probably. All right, we have Ford enthusiasts, another great topic for tonight's stream. We have Bronco Rob. Howdy, folks. Supercell Colorado is just around the corner.
Oh,
it sure is.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Rob, because we're going to have Tom from Bronco Driver Magazine on next week. So next week, we're going to talk Supercell Colorado. We'll be there. We'll have McArthur will have a booth. Yeah, you will not. She's leaving, and we're all heading that way. But we're going to have a booth at Supercell. So anyway, we'll talk more about that next week and what all's going on, because we're not really doing a drive that's going to be part of the Supercell.
Yeah.
But for those that want to, we're going to go off-roading every day. Let me just tell you that. And so we'll tell you our schedule on what we're planning to do. And if people want to come along with us, then they can. We'll meet at our booth to start the day, and we won't head out early. We'll be like 8 a.m. If you're not here, we're leaving you behind. It'll be more like everybody else leave, and then we'll go after them, after the traffic to all get out of the way, and then we'll probably head out most days at 9. So anyway, but yeah, it'll be a good time. Jeff's coming. We'll have a photographer with us, so you might get your picture taken. And
I'll be down there the weekend before, checking out St. Elmo. So
yep, so it'll be fun time.
All right, we have Mike 52G, morning all from North Pennsylvania.
Welcome in.
S. Young, evening. Steve Granger, hello all, perfect weather in Southwest Ohio. Michael Morales, hello guys, I hope all is well. McArthur, hello all of East Tennessee is in mourning tonight. We lost our dolly on a bright spot. I made my first ever hole in one tonight.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
That is amazing.
I've come close. I used to golf back in the day. Like on a par 3, I came really close once.
In high school, I golfed using his clubs.
Which is saying something because they're about as old as her. Anyway.
All right. Doug Blair, we await the king and queen of Ford video guy fandom. All McArthur's greatest.
So I was called something different this week on the Maverick Truck Club. They called me Tim Maverick Monday Barts. So anyway. So
love it.
By the way, we've already thought about this. There quite possibly could be a Fathom Friday series. I'm just saying. I told him I might have to buy a Fathom, or at least have one here, and we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but there might be a Fathom Friday.
Lebo asked to use the mach-e for vacation because he wants to try it out, and I was like, sure, we can do that. If you've been here before, you probably know he does not like EV, but he wants to take the EV to Colorado. And I asked him something the other night, and he's like, well, the Fathom's coming out. And I'm like, oh, he's thinking Fathom. Okay. So we'll see where this all leads and how it goes. Yeah. Maybe I need to blog my trip. Turning a non-EV into an EV person. All right, we have our Quibido evening, everyone. From somewhere near LSU in Baton Rouge, LA. Miss Jones says hi. Again, we're ready for football season. We have Ford enthusiasts. Is it true Ford may cancel the Bronco Sport? YouTube video saying it's happening in 2029.
That's probably one of those clickbait fake videos.
Stirring the pot.
There was a rumor it wasn't going to happen in 26 actually, or 25 or 26, and then it happened. So that's what I had heard, but it happened. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
Right?
I don't think so. Although I could say yes, get yours now in 2027 to try to get to jump on it, and then sorry, I guess they did make it 28. I think I don't know if they're planning to make a second gen, but anyway,
right?
I haven't heard that going away. Speculation. Now I think I know where they're getting that. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
So quite possibly.
We have RagnarCon. Guess what? School starts tomorrow. Woo! That means early bedtime for kids, which means parental freedom. School started for us. We had an earlier bedtime. My child still doesn't go to sleep till 11. It's been midnight every night for the past week. I'm tired. He needs to go to sleep. We have Doug Blair. Birds are a lifetime commitment. We had a cheery-headed conure. It talked 30 or 40 word vocabulary. So he said, I think his is a pineapple something conure.
Yeah, I think it's like a different breed of it or something.
I know it has like a
coloration is different. So
like it's pineapple something. I know that for sure.
They do live quite a while, don't they?
Orange, red, and green. So yeah. He said
the tail is red.
25 to 30 years. So he knows. So he can't have dogs or cats. He's allergic to dogs and cats.
Yeah.
So for him, a bird is perfect because he's not allergic to it. And it will live actually longer than most dogs and cats. Actually, all dogs and cats that I've known. So
yeah,
there you go. And it'll talk to him. All right, we have Chuck here. When I return to Florida in the winter, it would be nice to plan another Ford's Garage get together with Jack Evans and others. Maybe we could entice Tim and Sarah to fly down and join.
You know, we were talking about that tonight because Martin had reached out about a vehicle that we have in stock. Hopefully, Martin, you got someone that reached out to you. Um, I was mentioning that actually we met up with Martin a couple of times now.
Yeah.
I went by myself to a digital dealer and I met up with a bunch of them at a Ford's garage, and Martin was there. And then, and of course, so was, Ridgeview and such. And then what was it, just a couple of years ago that we went down. We got to do that again. It was a lot of fun. That year we went, it was during Super Bowl weekend.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, it's the first time that I've watched the Super Bowl without being in presence of my wife for a long time. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
I think if I come back, I need to bring the kids.
It's a lot of fun.
Plan something with them. Alrighty. I have more. We have Pan Newbert. Roosters are always showing up when they shouldn't. I used to buy 50 or 100 chicks that were already sorted. Even with me keeping only 10 or 12, selling the rest, I still end up with roosters. I hatched out 10. 2 have passed, and I have 2 roosters, so I'm down to 6 hens. I need more chickens. All right, we have Blue Feather. I made it a little late. Hi from a warm evening in Southern California.
I got to give him a shout out and thanks because in the Fathom community, Fathom forum or whatever, they were talking about, there was a dealer there that was talking about, how to buy a vehicle out of state, and somebody was thinking about ordering from us, and he was able to give his experience of what he went through as being in California, of what all you have to go through buying it from out of state, and the dealers and how things went here for us. So he's bought 2 Mavericks from us and drove them back. So yeah, and I think things are getting more strict in California now. Like we're actually looking at it going, is this something we can continue to do? Because there's some of the rules and regulations and all that behind it that are very strict. Because like we can't, it's harder for us to deliver them to California. Like if people come to pick them up, like what Brian did, that's a lot smoother transaction because they have to, you can't do paperwork unless you have possession of the vehicle. That's now a new California law, I think.
Yeah.
And so we've been dealing with that right now. So what we have to do is we have to ship the vehicle and hope that the customer, when it gets there, they're going to sign the paperwork. And we still have one where people haven't signed it and sent it back to us, and the first payment's due. And so we're out. It's our responsibility. So it's not only for the person that's buying in California, but for us as a dealership too, that's out of state. It's getting more difficult, but it may be one of those things where we might have to require them to come here. Like in Colorado, we have to do that.
Yes.
Right. We cannot deliver into Colorado. They have to come across the border to us, to Kansas, for us to take delivery as well. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, or have somebody from them, like we did with Wayne, where he sent one of his employees to come and get the vehicle here and drive it back.
Yes. Let's see. We have Carolina Backroads in here tonight.
No.
Huh?
No.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. That it?
That is it. Those are our members.
All right. Let me bring up this just for a second. I just kind of like briefly touch on scheduling. So we did the scheduling video that should have went live earlier, about an hour ago now. And so really there are a lot of the course models that have very few allocations. In fact, I even went through a lot of them where we don't have any allocations left, but there are some dealers out there that evidently do because they are scheduling, but just a select few just to fulfill the allocations that those dealers have. So you do see, Mustang, Bronco Sport, Bronco that's scheduling, Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, and then of course Super Duty F-150 always do. 26 F-150 still scheduling. So I always say last week is the last week. Well, this week's the last week. Unless they don't fill they have 11% they need to schedule and then they're done. Transit as well, scheduling. But mach-e not scheduling. Maverick is done. 26 Maverick is over. So they have balanced out 26 model year. They've scheduled it all out and they're done. Bronco Sport, hopefully this is the last week for Bronco Sport and they're done. So 26 model year for both those two models are pretty much over as you would think. So if you have an order in the system for a Maverick 26 and it did not schedule or has not scheduled, it's not going to schedule. So hopefully you have other plans arranged, and that order does not flip to 27. You have to you just have to go in and order 27. It's a different ball game. You can't push an order. A lot of people said, yeah, that order is going to roll over to 27. I said, no, it's not. The dealer's putting in a new order. It doesn't roll over. We've actually talked about this for like 4 years now. When that happened on those orders. Anyway, that's kind of some of the things going on there. Yeah, so you can watch that video if you want more information on that. Now, we did talk yesterday. I want to plug for our video, Maverick Monday video yesterday that went live. We talked about some of the surprises, some of the things that people were skeptical of whether or not I was accurate in saying this, because there's no build and price on Ford's website. So there's no way of knowing for sure. I'm like, what we have in our order system on our website is accurate. That is what the order guide has. That is a price list. We did get some questions answered that we talked about in that video. Auto start stop on the EcoBoost will not be on the vehicles. In fact, it sounds like to me, every vehicle here on out that has an EcoBoost or that has a gas engine will not have auto start stop anymore. It's being removed from all vehicles. So I don't know if Expedition's going to have it. They never really mentioned it the year before, but it sounds like pretty much across the board. So long. See ya. Auto start stop. So also a question was about the keypad entry. It will be hardwired on the B pillar from the factory. So back to the way it was before they removed it and there was an uproar. So woohoo. Anyway, so if you yell out enough, long enough, Ford will make changes.
I just take them a minute.
Right. So I did, and something else that came out that they said a new order guide will be published on FMC Dealer soon, an updated version, because there's a page that's being added, a national discount package for the XLT luxury package. So that'll get a package discount of $500. So that'll help bring that price down if you want an XLT Lux package. They do that to Super Duty or to F-150 a lot. Like F-150 has a 302A discount package of like $1,000 or $2,000, such like that. So they're doing that with XLT Lux as well. So you'll have that as well. There's also an accessory package discount of $500. They were doing this at F-150 too, and I'm sitting there looking at it going, it's not. I mean, unless you want them all. So basically what's going on, it says accessory package discount applies to any XLT and Lobo 402A and will automatically be applied when the truck is equipped with all of the four following. So you get the discount as long as you buy all four of these put all four of these on your order. The all-weather floor liners, either 16B option or 16C, which would probably be with or without the floor mats. The spray and bed liner option. The bed tie-down locking rails, the soft folding tonneau cover. So you have to order all four of those, and you get to save $500. So let's kind of, I don't know exactly what everything costs. Floor liners are less than $200. Spray and bed liners $525. The tonneau cover $600. The locking bed rails, I want to say they're $325. Anyway, so you kind of add some of those together. You're 11, you're 15, you're right around $1,600 for that. But if you buy them all and you want them all, great, because then you save $500. It only costs you $1,100. It's like getting a free spray and liner. You can look at it that way. Order these three things and you get the spray and liner for free. It's that kind of deal. But again, you would have to need all those, right? And want all those. That's the way I look at it. So anyway, those are a couple of things that they're doing. I did ask, one of the biggest things I did ask. So I'm getting a good relationship with this new brand manager, and he does want to do this like what we did with James, where he does let us know things. And he even mentioned that here's some news that you can share with your Maverick community. So this is awesome. So I'll put a post out probably tomorrow on Maverick Truck Club, unless one of you guys already do it, about some of those things. But I did ask, one of the big things that we talked about on the Maverick Monday, or that I talked about, I should say, not we, is that the trimmer, basically a 702A Lobo, a trimmer, and a Lariat, all priced $39,000. Lariat all-wheel drive, all priced $39,000. Right? Basically, you just pick. Do you want luxury? Do you want sport? Do you want off-road? $39,000 for all the, and they have a lot of all the same features, except for the Lariat. Actually, I think the Lariat is overpriced. Standard Lariat. Now, if it's Lariat, last year's Lariat luxury package, or include the Lariat luxury package at $39,000, that would be a good deal, because then that would be the same. Because if you look at the Lariat luxury package, all those features are included in a Lobo 702A and a trimmer for the same $39,000. But on the Lariat, you got to go up to $40,500. So it's like that Lariat luxury needs to be $39,000 as well. So that's my opinion. But anyway, so we're talking about that a little bit and pricing. And I said, well, when you look at that, it's $3,000 less than a 2026 trimmer or Lobo. And I looked. Guess what we have in stock? We have a 26 Lobo 702A. And I'm like, oh, we better get rid of that before 27 show up. Because why would anybody buy a 40,000 for, like ours is on sale for $41,300? It's like $3 or $4,000 off. We're not going to sell that as long as you can get one for $39,000. And that $39,000 is with destination charge. Right. Okay. I mean, why would we? So I did ask, I said, are there going to be some rebates? I mean, Ford has to come out with some rebates on the trimmer, the Lobo, for these to sell down. Otherwise, dealers are going to get stuck with these vehicles. No, I mean, if somebody comes in, there's a 26 and a 27, and the 27 is $3,000 less than a 26. You'd be crazy if you don't take the 27. Right. And so one of two things is going to happen. Either Ford's going to have to come out with some rebates to help dealers out, or the dealers are going to have to just lose money. They're going to have to lose $3-4 on these vehicles. So as dealers, get rid of them now. You won't be able to get rid of them when 27s come. That's just not going to happen unless Ford's got to come to bat and help dealers out. It's their fault. They overpriced them to start with.
Oh yeah.
Right. So if they're saying this is where that value really is, and I actually believe that $39,000 is the value of that. They've been overpriced the last 2 years. It's Ford's fault. Right. So Ford needs to come to bat, and they need to provide a discount. They need to provide a rebate. Now, I'm really putting Ford under the gun here as a Ford dealer, so hopefully I don't get myself in trouble here. But that's just that's just what it is, right? I mean, you can throw, F-150. You can throw them all kinds of rebates, and I mean, there's $5,000 rebate right now on F-150. $5,000. You can throw a little love to the Maverick. Let's go. Anyway, so
Ford math.
Just throwing it out there. Just, anyway. All right. Some other things that came out. The order guide for the F-150 updated on August 20th already. Some of those changes were ones that I mentioned this Friday. Then sometimes I mention things in the member live stream, and then I end up mentioning it in here and I forget. So just go through a couple of these things that came out, because there were some things that were enlightening as well. They did on the Lariat trim. There's a few errors that they fixed because it mentioned the 3.5 was the standard engine on the standard equipment page. It is not. It's a 3.0 EcoBoost now. So they removed that. They also rearranged some things on the package equipment, the 500, 501, and 502A, and what's included in those packages. Because one of the things that they didn't think about was last year, the Lariat came standard with chrome bumpers and some of the chrome accents. So they just put in there that it got chrome wheels and it got chrome exhaust tip. Well, this year, it doesn't come standard with chrome bumpers. So they didn't think about it, but I did notice that in the chrome package that it says the chrome packages comes standard on a 502A. And so I told the brand manager, oh, I found it. It looks like it's in the package code. So they added that package onto the equipment. So that makes it a little more easy to understand for people looking at that. So that was a big change there. Also, I didn't realize this, but they did update the engine block heater. They added that it's not available with the 3.0 EcoBoost engine on a Lariat 500A. So not sure why just on that trim level, but there you go. Now on the trimmer, they had to update the bed utility package because there was some confusion on where the Pro Access tailgate comes in and everything. And they made it to where, like, if you go to like 402A and such, that it gets the Pro Access tailgate. Well, now they made it optional. So bed utility package, they removed the Pro Access tailgate from being included on a 402A. And now what they did is they added an option for not only the 402A, but also the 402B to get the Pro Access tailgate. But you are required to get the bed utility package, which is the bed utility package is standard on 402A. They also added a winch option to the trimmer 402A that gets the modular bumper. So you can get a Warren winch. It's optional on that. Just the trimmer 402As, and that's not available. For some reason, it's not available on the Raptor. I think it's a different one on the Raptor, but there you go. And they also, biggest one I think they mentioned was they removed the birch sand from being a color available on the Raptor. That color was not be available on the Raptor like initially was told to us then. So those are some of those changes right there on that. So, all right. So that's that. All that good stuff. No recalls. No, this is the first week. First live stream I've done without any recalls. There's actually there was one. It was for police interceptors, but I decided not to cover it. So anyway, any questions? Anything? Anything? Dave said he could join us by audio if we need to, but he's on his way home. So I told him to take his time. So hopefully he'll be in here pretty soon.
We do have Dan here from the Dearborn truck plant.
Yeah. Oh. Now we can't talk anymore. So what is, I think production for 27 F-150 starts October-ish for Dearborn. They start earlier than Kansas City.
I think so.
So vehicles built Dearborn. So appreciate your hard work building those trucks. The backbone of the Ford, right? Yeah, is the F-150 definitely for sure. So anyway, so a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about, really, like a lot of what's funny is some of the speculation of what's going to happen that's come up from these articles is things that were brought up because they've noticed some of the production shift for the plant. So sometimes that's how media will like find something, if they'll see what production is changing, and that's where the rumors of the truck is coming out, because the Ranger's moving from the Michigan assembly plant production to another plant. So they're like, well, that opens it up for them to build something else. And I think that's where somebody had mentioned earlier in the article, they watched a video, and the video said that the Bronco Sport's going away because they see that the new $25,000 SUV is going to be, they think somewhere somebody found that it's going to be built in Hermosillo along with the Maverick. So if that's the case, right, then I could see where they're coming out with the speculation that maybe the Bronco Sport's going away. Can they build all three? Can they build a Bronco Sport, a Maverick, and a $25,000 SUV there? So maybe they are. Or are they going to bring the Bronco Sport into the Michigan assembly plant? Probably not, because it's not being on the same platform, but we can speculate all day long, right?
I saw today on your scheduling video said there were some delays with F-350 Super Duty with digital mirror and dual battery, which I had both on my Lariat, supposed to be built this week.
Okay, that's for getting scheduled. So the issue is for future orders, right? They haven't scheduled. So probably they have the digital mirrors for the people they've already scheduled.
Yes.
So they get their supply like scope of what can I look for of the available parts way in advance. So the distributor, the suppliers are saying, yeah, we can provide these parts, but we're getting low, so we can't provide the digital mirrors in the month of like November, October, or whatever. If you've already scheduled, you're good to go.
The constraints and scheduling information is in case you haven't.
If you haven't been scheduled yet, you don't have a production date, then that's what.
Once you're scheduled, you're good to go. Yeah, you're smooth sailing. Now you might see where it might get pushed back by a week or two. We've seen it move around occasionally, but you won't get unscheduled. You won't get delayed majorly.
And there were 2 different guides that I was looking at earlier, but I like to stick to this one because it actually says that if you want the dual battery and what was it? XLT orders, it says. Doesn't mention any of the others. You're a Lariat, right? I think you said Lariat somewhere.
Lariat?
XLT orders, if you would like to order the dual battery, dual alternators, and Pro Power on board, 2 kilowatt must be selected. So they're basically saying, I don't like how they worded that. It's not really good English how they put it in there. It sounds like to me, if you want the dual battery or the dual alternator, then you're required to order the Pro Power on board 2 kilowatt, which I think that was already a thing anyway in the order guide. But so maybe they just had to clarify for dealers that, hey, you're forgetting to select this. But they did mention F250 to 350s regular or super cab, and yours is probably a crew cab. Didn't say in there. But it says regular cab or super cab. Oh, that's the best availability. It's saying without the dual battery. So you can see that they do have a dual battery issue here going forward, ones that aren't scheduled yet. Because it does mention configurations. That's what's funny is best availability configurations, and they mention vehicles with the dual battery or without. No, it says without the dual battery, not with it. So anyway, but then down here it also mentions
crew cab. Yes.
Okay, so that's what I figured. So down here it mentions best availabilities, but it does say without the digital rear camera, rear view mirror. So anyway, which is really cool. Rear view mirror. I do want to see it on a Super Duty. I don't know if we have ordered any like that because those should be starting to show up. Production on Super Duty started 2 weeks ago. So here in a couple of weeks, we should start getting 27 Super Duties. So it'll be, I don't know. Hopefully we ordered 1 or 2 with a digital mirror. I know what it looks like on the Bronco Raptor.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know where they're going to put the camera. Is it going to be the tailgate on the mirror? Because basically it's when you back up, it's on the mirror. So you're seeing it basically you're instead of it seeing rear view mirror, you're seeing a camera. So the question is it going to be the camera on the cab or the camera on the?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you have 360 camera, it could be either one. I don't know. Can you choose? Can you flip back and forth?
Right.
Kind of cool. Kind of like I do on mine. I can flip from the rear camera to the front to the dash cam by swiping on my Wolf box.
Ah, Jack made it.
All right. Dave coming in. He'll be here. I don't know how far he had to go.
I have another comment. 2 boxy cross. Well, what day does Ford usually update to showing in production or window sticker? So showing in production is typically the day that it gets put into production, maybe the day before.
Remember it'll say in production when it starts to get the built to schedule.
Oh, like when they start sending it over. So
so it could be about 10 days to 2 weeks ahead. That's what we found.
That's right.
Now on the window sticker though, there's all kinds of dates on the window sticker, and I don't know what half which one's which sometimes. So
2 boxy crossovers that are about the same size, built at the same Mexico facility is silly. Ford should have just imported this Escape from Spain.
We'll see. I think the biggest thing is Escape wasn't selling at the at that price, but we're also finding the Bronco Sport isn't selling at that price. But I think that Ford wants that name. Well, here, we're going to dive in here and start talking about this. And Dave will join us in just a little bit, but we'll kind of start talking about that. So why did the Escape go away? Why is the Bronco still here? And is the Bronco going to go away? Bronco Sport going to go away and such? But as dealers, we sat on those last Escapes for a long time, and they didn't really sell until we got them down to that $30,000 price range. It's just a funny thing. Bronco Sport, there's a reason why we usually don't order Outer Banks and Badlands Bronco Sports, and it's not because we don't like them.
It's a very specific customer.
It's because they don't sell, or they weren't selling for a long time for us. I will say the Badlands that we've been having, the cheaper Badlands have been selling, but again, they have to get south. They have to be below $40,000 for them to sell. I mean, they want that off-road 2.0 liter engine, but they don't want to pay 36, right, or whatever. So I almost compare the Badlands Bronco Sport to a Maverick Tremor, and that's where it
Yeah.
should be price wise too. And they're all there. You notice those prices are coming down, and so is the Bronco Sport on that one because it lowered. I do like the fact that because I think with the first couple years on the Bronco Sport Badlands, they made it to where here's their entry level Badlands, and then if you want more this luxury feel like the Outer Banks, then it was another several $1,000s. And I like that aspect,
Yeah.
right? Because then it gets you that capability without having to go and break the bank. I do like the Big Ben having the Black Diamond off-road package. That's a great if you're wanting off-road capabilities, you don't have to go up to Badlands. You can do it with the Big Ben with that Black Diamond package if you want. You just don't get the engine and you don't get the upgraded advanced all-wheel drive system.
So, in my opinion, if I'm going to spend a lot of money on a vehicle, that much money, go for a higher trim level, I want it built to my specifications. I want the options I want. I want the color I want. I'm not going to just take something off the lot and settle for that price.
Yeah. You're going to order.
I'm going to order.
But some people they're ready to get something and they will to the dealer lot and hopefully it's one's there like what they like. We've been selling like I said, the halfway last year, what they call job 2, that Bronco Sport Badlands lowered a couple grand, right? And so that was, I think, when that lowered, like we ordered several of them, and we sold the first couple pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that's where people are looking at, and now they've lowered it even more, and I do like that. They've lowered it to because they keep taking things away, and I'm like, okay, well, they took these things away, and I look at some of the things they took away, and it reminds me of a Big Ben equipment, but with the capabilities of the Badlands. And so I'm like, that's what if somebody just wants to get in it and they want the 2.0, they want that advanced 4-wheel drive, they want that rock crawl mode, they want the rear locker, right? They can get that, and it's at $36,000 now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great option, right? And I think that's smart. So we'll see if they sell more Badlands that way. But
Steve Granger said that the skate plant had lots of down weeks. Plant was able to produce more than sales.
Yeah.
And if you're at that point and you're not being efficient with your factory and you're having to close down for several weeks, when they close down, they have to still pay the workers, right?
I think so.
So they're not producing, but they're paying the workers still. So
it's a UAW, I think.
Yeah, it's not efficient. You need to have your factory at full go.
Just like during COVID for us, we paid our employees.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have plants around here that, if they're working on a batch of something, if something runs out midway through, they have to shut down. They have to shut down until they get more of what they need. Chip shortage. During that time, we had factories around here running out of chips for their equipment.
Yeah.
So they would have to shut down, but they're still paying their employees. It's not efficient if you aren't able to.
And the reason they were saying they were down was because they were right that the Escape sales were down.
Yeah.
They weren't selling. But when you have a Chevy version that's $25,000.
Oh, yeah.
If you have somebody out there, and Escape isn't one of those enthusiast brands. It's not one of those enthusiast vehicles, right? If people are looking at Escape, they're probably looking at the other competition, Honda, right? And Toyota, and they're looking at those others, and they're not competing on price.
So I think once they brought the Bronco Sport back, you got that old Escape body back, and people were like the old Escape body.
Yep.
So why keep buying this Escape? Because yes, they like the Escape, but hey, now we have the Bronco Sport. It looks like the old Escape that I like. Why not just get that?
And they were the same price. I mean, Bronco Sport and Escape were about the same price. The crossover the body was not selling. Here's the thing: I think when they came out with the Bronco Sport, they shouldn't have named it Bronco Sport.
No,
just right. And then maybe they could have made that the new Escape or whatever, or maybe a different name, whatever it might be. But we'll have to see. We haven't heard names or anything. But let's get into. Let's talk about some of those other models. And then what the reason I wanted Dave on was to talk Bronco stuff. So let's hold off on that. Well, let's talk while we're at it. Let's talk about that cheaper SUV that's coming out. So a couple articles that I'll reference. I'll put it in the notes because so you guys have it. And the Detroit Free Press came out with one. It was based on some automotive news articles. And they even sourced that as well on those because they were the first to break that news. And they talked about a SUV, a small SUV priced at $25,000. And so I'm quoting them, not myself, because I do know something. Well, I don't really know much. I actually know what is in the article. Okay, let's just say that. Detroit Free Press, their quote, but according to the dealer who saw renderings of this planned new entry-level small Ford SUV, because they did show what it's supposed to look like at the dealer meeting. At the Las Vegas meeting, Ford will be offering it in hybrid and gasoline powertrains starting at about $25,000 when it comes out in 2029. Now, remember, when Ford says $25,000, that is before destination charge. So you probably got to figure it's $27,000. Just throwing that out there. It says when it comes out in 2029. Now they're saying calendar year at that point, it looks like to me. So maybe it'll be a 2020 or 2030. I don't know. It says the dealer who asked to not be named because he is not authorized to speak to the media on this topic said Ford and executives at the meeting included CEO Jim Farley, COO Kumar Golhotra, and other top leaders. News of the small SUV being presented to dealers was first reported by Automotive News, they said. And they also quote, the dealer saw the design of Ford's planned small SUV and described it as boxy and wide, similar to the Bronco Sport. Ford leaders at the Las Vegas meeting did not reveal to dealers the name of the vehicle or where it would be built. So they don't say it's going to be built in Hermosillo. So we don't know that for a fact. So I don't know where people are getting that it's going to be built down there, because in here they said Ford didn't disclose that. It says, but Fiorani said his data showed it is expected to go into production in late 2028 at the Hermosillo assembly plant in Mexico alongside the Bronco Sport and Maverick. So he does say it'll be there along with Bronco Sport and Maverick. So will they limit how many Bronco Sports are built? Probably. I mean, we know that plant can kick those vehicles out. Like we saw the Maverick production go to where it was starting to get scheduled because they had 2 shifts. Then they added the 3rd shift, and man, production went through the roof, right? And we had no issues, right, getting those vehicles. So we know that they can do it and they can bring it in. Oh, I see a little shadow of somebody there. Anyway, so we'll see if Dave is probably gonna throw a comment over there. We'll see. But when he's ready, just give me a thumbs up, Dave, and we'll get you in here and get you ready. But we're talking about Bronco stuff here for you, so we'll get you going there. But so I don't know, we'll see. I mean, are we seeing more affordable vehicles from Ford? I hope so, right? I hope so. What's one of the others that I want to talk about? Actually, I think most of them I wanted. Oh yeah, we do the Mustang, the 4-door Mustang. Dave might want to talk about this too, but let's see.
Well, I mean, he does like Mustang,
right?
C-Max time.
He had one.
Yeah,
right?
Bring it back.
We're getting some more hybrid versions, they said.
I want the C-Max back. It's a good car. It's great for kids. It has nice headroom, has good seat room in the back. It's not too crowded. I can fit things in the back. I can fit a dog kennel in the back of my car. It's everything I need. Not ready.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about this Mustang 4-door here. And then, so Detroit Free Press mentioned this and talked about this. It said Ford kind of put this out. They even disclosed some things. Ford revealed an image of the four-door Mustang and plans around it. The dealer who saw it said the four-door Mustang shown resembles the current model, but with four doors and a more sedan shape to it. So a lot of people are putting renderings. Actually, we did one. We had some fun. We took a Mustang that we had pictured in our picture building, and I said, "Hey, make this a four-door." So it did. And I'm like, "Hey, then go ahead and let's take the spoiler off." And then I was like, "Hey, because then the back end was still kind of big, and I'm like, I think it's supposed to be smaller than that. Make the hatch of the back end a little shorter," and it did. So that was a rendering. That's 100% Chat GBT there, but a lot of people having fun with it. But some of those renderings are, I think, are close. But let's say Ford. Now, I wasn't at the dealer meeting, so I'm not disclosing anything. There was somebody there that came back and told us a few things, but that I'll make sure I don't talk about anything that I can't. But it did say Ford told the dealers the four-door pony car would not go on sale until the end of the decade, noting it was unclear whether the car will be a 2028 model or 2029 model. But the reason Ford is considering doing the four-door variant is simple, he said. They want the sedan to broaden the appeal and make it a vehicle that a young family can use. So anyway, so there you go. And I think Ford's not shying away from the four-door Bronco. Dave's in here. You hear us?
What's up, crew?
Oh, we can hear you. You hear us?
Yep.
All right. Well, good. Audio check done. How's it going? For everybody that doesn't know Dave, I don't know where you've been, but Dave has been on this here before. We've been on theirs. Just we love chatting Ford product and everything. And so thanks for short notice for jumping on. And we actually mentioned in our member live stream, which you are one of our members, but you weren't there Friday. I said, hey, we should get Dave to talk Bronco truck, because we were talking about that, because I know you've had a Gladiator and such. So I'm like, hey, and you did a video on the Lincoln Bronco, and I thought, oh, this would be perfect, because he just did that, so he could come in and talk on that, and want to plug your video as well. Right? People got to go watch it. I watched it. It's a good video.
Well, thank you, Tim. Sorry, my TV was flashing when you were talking there. Yeah, no, I've had the Gladiator. I know, crazy. I've had the Gladiator, and of course the Mustang. You're just talking about the four-door Mustang. That's actually interesting to me that as well. That Ford's doing some interesting things right now. Of course, I think cars are coming back for Ford, which is, we take a 5-year break, and then maybe we bring some cars back.
Well, I think they saw people still buying cars, and I mean, I don't know. And really, to be honest, I don't know if the Mustang, two-door Mustang anymore, is just selling as well. I mean,
it's not.
A lot of them are getting out of it, and I think they're wanting to still give them that. And I think at the dealer meeting, they actually mentioned it over and over, comparing it to the Panamera. So that's what they're trying to go against, is the Panamera. And
let's be honest, though, there's also a Challenger Charger thing that they're kind of like. I mean, yeah. That's what kept Dodge's doors open, was the Challenger and Charger. And of course, they've kind of messed that up recently with starting out with EV, and now they're kind of, second guessing that. So there's money. Dodge proved there's money there to be made in a kind of a V8 4-door, and I think Ford definitely wants a piece of that. You can say we want Porsche because of the level that Porsche is at, but let's be honest, they want that blue collar money.
Yeah. Yeah, and they mentioned under 40,000. I mean, with destination, it'll be over, of course. But and they mentioned a hybrid variant to it. So I don't know. I guess it makes me think. And like I said, I don't know. I'm not this part of it. I'm not saying I know anything about this, because I don't. But I think that what they might use in that being that Mustang might also be something we might see come over to the Bronco, because they're talking about a hybrid for the Bronco too.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't think same thing.
I don't think Mustang sells 20K a year or something. The numbers are super low for what I know it sells now. So you need a 4-door to keep that brand going, or that badge plate going.
Yeah. Because definitely the Dark Horses isn't doing it, because I know they're trying to make more Dark Horse and everything, but
which is weird. I mean, that never appealed to me. I bought in 24 when this generation came out, I bought a GT, and Dark Horse was never on my radar of like, oh, that's for the price point. Oh, you're getting so much more. You're really not, in my opinion. Yeah, the Magna Ride and all that's fun, but it wasn't enough to sway me to spend another $10K on a car because I think a Mustang, I think a raw power. I want just raw. I know they really want to take on like the 3 Series from BMW stuff. That's why the Dash is the way it is now, is because that's how BMW is doing it. But I want that raw power, the V8, just to go straight really fast. And that makes me happy. And if they do a 4-door version of that, I may pick one up because it's pretty exciting.
Well, and I don't know if they talked about that, but they mentioned, this is one of the people said it would be a hybrid V8. So there's somebody coming from the dealer meeting. I don't know. I didn't get that information, but they mentioned hybrid power. But
well, I got lots of information from the dealer meetings.
Well, yeah. They come out and they talk to them, and some of the stuff Ford wants to get out, but it's just like, but I'm like, I don't want to be the one because I don't want to get in trouble. You
guys sign NDAs and all kinds of weird stuff that,
I didn't go, but there's some people from our dealership that did. And so and they will share that just to keep our sales staff excited about what the future looks like. I mean, they're talking about, we got to remember there's going to be a new Maverick coming, a next gen Maverick,
which is soon, right? Like that should be pretty soon
next year. One more model year. And then a new Bronco Sport, we think, another second gen Bronco Sport. We got a next gen Super Duty and F-150 coming within the next, by 2030.
Do you think Bronco Sport makes it another generation?
I don't know.
It's done well, but it's not done like I think they thought it was going to do.
So with this small SUV, I'm getting a little
worried.
I'm a little wondering, but so I heard rumors that it might be a little bigger.
Okay,
than it is.
Makes
the
sense.
current one is.
Yeah.
So make it a little bigger, and the small one comes in. I just hope it's not an EcoSport. That thing was.
EcoSport. I can agree. I do not like that one.
That was like you couldn't fit anybody in the back seat, and there was nothing you could fit in the cargo area.
I did like the door. The door swung sideways. I like that. That was it.
I don't know. No. Anyway, so but even in some of the article that Detroit Free Press put in there, that they had mentioned that it looked like a Bronco Sport or something size, and it didn't look like it was really like a shorty or anything like that. But I think the big thing is being able to have that cheaper price. And I think they still want to bring the premium money on the Bronco Sport. It's a Bronco, got that Bronco name. So I think they feel like it should bring $2,000-$3,000. And I mean, we just have felt like we know from our aspect, like 1 month we had where we hadn't sold any Bronco, like halfway through the month, we hadn't sold a Bronco Sport. And we're just like, we've got to sell these. And so as a dealer, we're participating in losing money, and basically is what we're doing, because they didn't have the rebates out, like $1,500 rebate or something. But we found that if we can't get that Bronco Sport under 30, it wasn't selling.
Yeah.
But once we got it,
that's the
under
world
30,
we live in, right? Like right now, if I know the current administration is, trying to get inflation in check, but then we go start, other wars that kind of counterintuitive to what you're trying to do. And I think the American buyer right now is just feeling the pinch of like, I can't, you were talking new F-150. Obviously Ford will do well with it, but I mean, they could probably sell 10 to 15% more if the prices were just a little lower. And with Bronco Sport, I do feel it's just too expensive for what it is. Now, if it was maybe a solid rear axle vehicle, a little more capable, kind of that Xterra 4Runner-ish platform, maybe you can justify it a little bit more. But I think they in my opinion, they screwed the launch up by bringing that out before Bronco, because it just it muddied the waters of what was going on. I know people today, I could probably walk into a dealership and people today still not understand that that's not the Bronco, that's a Bronco Sport, and whether you chalk it up to just pandemic, obviously it was quicker for the Mexican line to get up and running than what the American line was trying to do. Ford made a mess out of that, and now they're jacking the prices up on these things. And the American buyer is just like, I can't afford, $45,000 for the size of that vehicle. Like Sarah, your young family, that probably for your young family is a perfect size vehicle. But then you look at a lot of people in your age group, they don't make enough money to afford that vehicle anymore. So it's either that, or then you rely on the retirees that kind of want something that looks, rugged, but yet still nice and economical. And even the retirees now, because I think there's a generation for like where I'm at, That's not on my list of vehicles right now. I'm willing to sacrifice fuel economy. I want the more rugged, or I want the bigger, stronger thing. And I think that's when you look at Bronco and you go, okay, I could get an Outer Banks, similar price tag. Like, why do I want to go $45,000 for this, Mexican built vehicle? And nothing wrong with the Mexican labor force, but there is still a culture in America where we would rather have the American built product over, I think, the Hispanic built product right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm wondering is, looks like we're trying to get prices down, because I don't know if you saw the videos that I did on the Maverick and the Bronco Sport, but specifically the Maverick prices, like the Tremor and the Lobo 702A Lobo, they dropped $3,000, like $3,000. They took no features away. A lot of people are like, well, what did they take away? And I said, nothing. I mean, I compared the order guide from last year to this year. They took nothing away from either one of those and dropped the prices $3,000. And I'm like, so for us, like I told the brand manager, I said, you're going to come out with rebates on 26, right? Because otherwise we're never going to get rid of anything once that 27 shows up. And even with the order guide opening up right now, people will wait to save $3,000.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
For a young family, even you guys, you're running around doing sports, with one kid. We're looking at 2 kids starting to enter into sports and doing things, running around. I want fuel economy over anything. So there's no point in my brain to get rid of what I have or to not buy a good hybrid instead of buying the Bronco Sport. I would love the Bronco Sport. I would have one if it had hybrid.
Right.
And
that vehicle's perfect for a hybrid setup. It would be perfectly set up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, Tim? Do y'all think though that the previous, between Trump's first administration and I don't want this to be political by any means, but you do have to take into account there was a priority of the Biden administration to push electric really, really hard. Like, and I get it. I think sometimes the American buyer needs to be pushed a little bit. Like we get set in our ways and we're like, I don't want that. But do you feel like there was because of the hard push on that, all these manufacturers, Chevrolet, GM, everybody, they were, okay, we've got the, whatever it was, the 2030 mandate. And okay, now we're going to have to be, 50% EV, whatever it was. That now that the Trump administration's come back in and sort of relaxed it a little bit, that they're able to now go, well, this is probably where we should have been 5 years ago. Let's go. Let's look at more hybrids. Let's, like, even Bronco. Hybrids coming for Bronco. Farley said it's coming. I think it's coming too late for this generation, but we do know it's coming. And I think maybe that the Ford needs to look at that and go, okay, well, for one price, hybrids are still going to be expensive because you still have, precious materials that go into making that vehicle. But I think the American audience, for one, can chill a little bit and go, okay, it's not an EV Bronco or whatever completely. We can relax a little bit as long as the prices don't go outrageous. But I also think that Ford usually leads the way within the big three of when they do something, everybody else follows in. They should pause pricing. They should go to the American audience right now and go, yes, we're making record profits. They do every year, whether stock prices move or whatever. I don't really buy into like GM and Ford stock prices because they just don't move. I don't care if they had some diamond in the rough that they just sold 1 million of, their stock price is going to be 10 to 14 no matter what. But if they would say, we're going to pause, we're going to make this promise to the American people for the next 5 years, we're not raising prices at all. We're willing to eat it as a company, and we're still going to make money. We promise our stockholders we're still going to make money, but right now we owe it to the American buyer to, let's pause everything just for a minute. We understand inflation's got out of control. We're just doing what we do because this is what we do. Every year it's going to be raised 2 to 5%, prices are. And let's commit to the American audience of, hey, we're going to stick to this because, Tim, I got railroaded on my Bronco Raptor. I mean, railroaded by Ford. Had I waited 1 month more when I bought my Raptor, the price would have been $20,000 cheaper. I'm looking right now as a businessman who needs to move into another vehicle. I can't get rid of the vehicle. Like, it's just, I looked at the other day, I would like right at 70 on it and I couldn't sell it for 59. So I really think if Ford were to do something like that and say, hey, we've got all this modern stuff coming, hybrids, hybrid Bronco, hybrid whatever's coming, but we're gonna help the American audience out a little bit and just, hey, we've got your back, America. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like same thing is going to happen. Like there's somebody had posted, I think, that and said that, and like, well, Ford just, I won't say exactly what they said, but Ford, that doesn't, the people that just bought Lobos and trimmers late this year, 26s, and then they lowered it $3,000. They're just like, thanks a
killed
lot.
My resale.
That's kind of what happened to you,
Mhm.
on your Raptor, because they'll do that. Some of those things, and it's just crazy. Or that big rebate comes out right after you buy, and you're like,
or the employee pricing,
or employee pricing or something.
Well, Bronco had been protected for employee pricing for a long time, but yeah, I think what you can do employee pricing now.
Yeah.
Well, they had an incentive. They were offering employee pricing for everyone
for what, May and June?
For May, June, July.
Yeah,
part of July.
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first week, technically, July 4th weekend. But
sorry, Tim, I'm rambling. I know this is not where you were wanting the conversation to head.
Oh no, I like talking about this because that's when we get together, Super Soul, whatever. We just do this.
This is what we do, guys.
That's what we do. But we just start talking about that. And I think so. What kind of drives me nuts too, like kind of talking about some things, is that first year that they do a refresh or something, they bring out some new cool products, new cool features, and they put it in these vehicles, and then they spend the next 2 years removing those items. Like look at Bronco Sport, the new little, you were at that embargoed event with the fender, the tie downs.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's gone out of some of the models.
Selling point.
And then you got like, the brush guard and everything else. Oh, we're going to remove it because people didn't like it anyway. So like, well, now you can add it, but it's this or that. And I think it's crazy how they're decontenting things.
Well,
like
it feels like they didn't do enough sourcing, like checking if people would like it or not, or how it would do on the market. Then they get it to market, and then they're like, people don't like this. We need to take it off or make it.
I do have a problem with Ford in general with that. And I brought it up. I was talking to Miss Haley with Bronco brand manager. Is every year they just change something for it almost feels like somebody's trying to justify their job. Of like, I got to constantly make changes or else I'm really not needed. If Ford, I've said it a long time ago, base should just be a base of a Bronco. And it's easy for a customer to go, okay, that's the base. But hell, now a base is getting confusing of what you can add to it. Is it now basically the Big Ben, which it basically is? And Ford has this weird problem even with Haley brought it up of she woke up, Ford said, hey, we're going to remove the sway bar disconnect as standard feature on Badlands. And the hate that they got instantly for that. And it was like, just stop tweaking everything, guys. Like my Mustang was the same way. My 24, my GT Performance I got was pretty simple to order. The next, like you're saying, the next 2 years, they take everything away. But guess what? The prices keep going up. And I'm like, Ford has this real bad habit of year one. If you ever want to buy a new Ford product, do it year one. Because you can guarantee the next year, it's going to be $2,000 to $3,000 more, no matter what.
Yep. I said that in one of my videos. I said, hey, this is a refresh year. This is a year. Get the stuff now. Like I said that about the Fathom. I said because I know some stuff that I can't talk about on the Fathom. Sure. I'm like, I'm just telling you guys, if you want one, get it the first year. Because I could see them there. I don't see them being able to that price. They're going to include a lot of standard equipment at that price. I'm just like, I'm sitting here going, it's going to have more equipment than a Maverick for less money. And I'm just sitting here going, how? I'm like, you better just, and I just tell people, get one the first year because they're going to decontent it the next several years. And that's what they've been doing.
Go ahead, Sarah. I'm sorry.
That, or they're going to lower the price of the Maverick. Because people are going to be like, why would I buy the Maverick with this content when I can buy the Fathom with more?
But unless you don't want EV.
Well, I think Maverick's days of being a starter truck are over anyways. It's basically a mid level vehicle now. It's not a entry level vehicle. And they're going to use the Fathom as their, let's get you into a Ford truck that way. And then if you want more, move on up. Tim, I have to say this, my biggest, TikTok ever was on Fathom. Over 200,000 views on people hating that thing.
Oh,
it was it was a hate fest. And it was funny it was all based on Slate and Tello people that they've got their feelings hurt that the big guy was coming in and going to push those guys out of the way. And I think Slate and some of those, they've pushed the boundaries, have showed like, oh, there is interest in this. But the funny thing was, I was talking about, I think for me, like Fathom is great because, well, we don't know anything about it yet, really. What the range and stuff's going to be. I would presume it's going to be comparable to what Slate does. But the fact that you have dealerships backing this, that you have, like, you get in an accident, if you were to Rivian, you go crash a Rivian right now, it's still stupid expensive to replace fenders and everything. And of course, Slate is trying to do plastic fenders, which that still doesn't mean you can get them. It just means, hey, we're trying to do this as cheaply as we can. But yeah, people were just like nailing dealerships about, well, they're going to charge $20K over for that thing. I was like, no, they're not, man. We don't live in the pandemic anymore. I think there will be bad dealerships that, go, hey, we got the latest thing. You want it. You're going to pay $5 or whatever over. That's just for the stupid people that can't wait 6 to 8 months. That's the only reason dealerships, I feel like, do that. They're taking advantage of a situation, yes, but they got mouths to feed. There's times when they, like you were just saying, you lose money on certain products. And most people don't realize you guys actually lose money selling some products because you just got to get on to the next thing. It's not we need to sit on this for 90 days. And yeah, it was amazing to fathom like how much hate, and it was all because of the dealerships.
Yeah, I'm in the Fathom on the Reddit. I got back into Reddit. I hadn't been doing Reddit in a while, but I got into the subreddit on Reddit. And so they've been saying it. They said the worst, what's going to kill the Fathom more than anything is the dealers. And I'm like, well, no, there's enough of them out there. And, and so there are dealers that are coming out and saying, we're going to do MSRP, and who knows, but it sounds like to me, from what I gathered from some of the articles I read from the road.ford.com, is that they're going to be able to make these faster than they make other vehicles because there's less moving parts, there's less wiring and everything. And the way they're making it sounds like to me they can make a lot more faster, which allows them to be able to.
Have you ever been in a manufacturing? I'm assuming you have been in and seen how things are put together. People don't realize. I don't think the common buyer realizes how many moving parts there are to a gas-powered vehicle, whether it be from, if it's a truck, the framing, the framing usually is stamped somewhere else and they bring the framing in. All the body panels are done. They don't realize with EV, there's not as many moving parts. And yes, you can move so much faster and pivot quickly because, the electric motor is built into the front hub assembly. So you just put it up in there, whether it's rear drive as well. And then there's some wiring and that's it. Like, yeah, you build a cab, but there's not. And I think with Fathom, Ford is really I saw their video the other day where they were like, yes, we're going to have basically when the cab comes in, it's done. And we're just putting some underpinnings on it and then it's done. Like there's a new way of manufacturing. And of course we follow this. So we're privy to understanding this. I worked in manufacturing, so I'm very privy to how that works. And I don't think the common buyers, like your Reddit people or whatever, we live in that Amazon culture. I got to have it now. I want it the cheapest price possible. And they don't realize, like, yeah, you still got it. For one, you got to build these things. I'm not sold that Slate can do anything. They'll build some, but there's no way in this world that I would want to spend $30,000 on something that may not be here next year. Ford, whether you like them or not, GM, whoever, whether you like them or not, guess what? They will be here next year. There's no, if Slate for whatever reason screwed over their buying audience, the government's not stepping in to save them. They're not too big to fail. Ford and some of these companies were too big to fail. I'm not spending my money, my hard-earned money like that for something that I'm the guy that loves quirky, weird brands. I like to be not the first, but I like to be different than everybody. And that brand there worries me. And if I had a chance to go to Fathom, if I needed a small EV pickup truck, for one, the outline that we've all seen of Fathom looks really appealing and kind of Maverick-like, but it looks pretty sporty looking. And you're getting a radio. You're getting like things that Slate's like, you're not going to get. But once again,
I think people will be surprised at how much you're getting for standard equipment.
I hate to go back to it, but like the hate that Fathom was getting was ridiculous. Now, I don't like the name personally. I think it's an awful name. I think they should have done something more historic. They have enough name badges in there, like Maverick. Maverick was never a truck. But Maverick was also not a popular in the 70s, really a popular nameplate either. But there's nameplates they could have used, but I'm all in with, like, I've told Kelly, I thought about maybe picking one up and because it's interesting. Where do you think the range will be on something like that? I know you. So obviously, you know things that but I mean, is it within what Slate you think is going to do? What is it, 205 to 250, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
So
they're gonna have two different ones. They're gonna have extended range.
Yeah, of course.
So they're gonna have two. They're gonna have two drivetrains options and two extended range. Kind of, I almost feel like it's gonna be like mach-e. So it's gonna be very limited on how many like mach-e. It's like you have three trim levels. You have the performance one, and I don't think they're gonna have that. But I think it's gonna be pretty much. Do you want all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive, whatever?
Right.
And then do you want extended range or standard range? And then at that point, like everything's gonna be almost all standard equipment. With the exception of a few little standalone options. That's what it sounds like to me. And so it's like I said, there's going to be so much. Like Blue Cruise hardware is going to be standard equipment. Like the hardware, you'll have to get the subscription.
Year one.
You know, there's just a lot of things that are gonna. I mean, we've looked at the flip book video. If you've watched that. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing like, hey, they're looking at. We looked at it again today, you know, and you can see the surfboard hanging off. There's a mid gate, right there. There's Pro Power on board in the bed. You know, is it gonna be standard? I'm not sure. I feel like it might be. And then you know, there's what they showed the frunk. Right. And they've already said there's this guy from Ford, Riley from Ford, that's been on all the forums as well. And so he's been trying to answer what he can. And he's been confirming some things like the frunk, you know, and you saw the three colors, the three new colors, right? That's part of the three things showing people have
so what do you think is going to really be the big justification to make it more expensive, you know, price points? Is it just like maybe leathery kind of options or? Yeah. Luxury options.
And people are contemplating that when you go extended range, that's where they're going to get you. It's going to be 10 grand like it is on an F-150 Lightning. And I can tell you price wise, I can't mention pricing, but it is not anywhere near that. I mean, people will be, I think, pleasantly surprised. You can go all-wheel drive extended range, and it's not going to be more than a Maverick hybrid or a Lariat. I mean, a Maverick Lariat. I mean, you're going to be less than that. And I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, I think people... And I think that's why it's popular, just like with the Maverick. It was the cheap truck, right? And I think people are looking at it and going, hey, and there are a lot of, I know Ford told dealers, this isn't the Maverick buyer that's going to buy this, but I have a whole nother, I have a dozen people that are ready to order that are Maverick customers. Ready to get
no, it's 100% Maverick customers.
So my husband and his family is known for being the most frugal person in his family. He also is against EV, highly against EV. Fathom has him thinking. He now wants to take the mach-e on my dad's mach-e on a trip to Colorado and long haul it for our family vacation to just try it out. And it's because of the Fathom, the price point that it's at, and it's a truck.
Yeah.
Like that is what he's thinking. Truck, price point, EV. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people also need to reimagine what they think a truck is. A truck is not an F-250 that, you know, not everybody needs an F-250. I see in construction, I see contractors that have no reason to be owning 250s, 350s, but they do. I think for the most American buyers, that if you had a range under 300 miles with a EV pickup truck that this size, you know, whether it be to throw some garbage to the recyclings, whatever you're going to do, I think that's most Americans' needs of a truck. And I think I really do think they're going to hit a home run with this one. And why you haven't seen GM or anybody open I'm sure they're working on something similar, but not a peep. You don't want Ford to have the audience. We already seen it with Maverick. Ford's had that audience for 5 years, and nobody, I know what Hyundai kind of tried to do something. It just was not, it was too SUV, not truck enough looking.
It reminded me of a Subaru Outback.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. You could put some brat seats in the back of the thing and you'd be like, okay, it's just a modern version. But I can't imagine like there's no competitors, because I don't take Slate seriously right now. And I'm not, I know people think, oh, you just don't like the brand. No, I love startups. I love companies like that they are changing the way we think of automotive. Tesla did it, you know, it was in 2008, 9, it was just Nissan and Tesla worried about EV vehicles, and look what happened. Like suddenly everybody had to have one.
Yeah.
So I like this, and I really do think that Ford's gonna, if somebody doesn't step up to the plate, major manufacturer, and maybe it's Ram, because Ram is working on a new Dakota, and I have a feeling there'll be an EV version and a hybrid version of that pickup truck. Maybe they steal some thunder, but no, Ford's going to have this audience all to themselves. It's going to be great for them.
And I think, is that what they're doing now? Is they're tapping into something that
Untapped.
nobody's really doing, and because that Maverick did that. I mean, nobody.
I love
could compete
Steve.
well.
Steve, in your comments, I'm 63-year-old and I'm an 8-foot bed guy. And that's the great thing. There's a vehicle for everybody.
Yes.
And I know. So I'm not a long bed guy because for whatever reason, when I was a kid, I wanted a full size. I was a Chevy kid. I loved the Silverados I used to do, and short bed was it for me. I didn't need a long bed. I just thought long beds are ugly. Those are just for construction guys or whatever. But I do understand, Steve, there is a bed, like some people need a longer bed for whatever they do in life. But I don't also think this truck is for them either.
Yeah. I can't tell you much about this, but I can tell you that, yeah, there's a way that you might be able
Tim's
to
going to have some good
something that
videos coming out one day. That's what I'm hearing.
Right? We're going to do a Fathom Friday, by the way.
Fathom Friday. I like that, man.
And start the beginning.
So
anyway.
we're a farming community. We have people buying trucks left and right. We actually have our receptionist, her and her husband have a farm. They have land, they have animals, they have a winery. He has a full-size truck. She's like, I don't need that, but I do need something that's going to get me across those country roads and be able to carry feed from town to home. She'll go and pick up stuff in town before she heads home for the night. And she bought a Maverick. It's perfect for her. It's the perfect size. She's like, I can get in. She had back surgery. She's like, I can get in without having to step up or have to climb in or do any of that. I get my all-wheel drive. I can go down those dirt roads. And she's like, I can get through more easily now. And then she's able to still get her feed home without having to put it inside her vehicle and smell it. It's just each person has their own necessity. Each person has their own thing that they need it for,
Yeah. Well, and Steve said it would be a car for me, but what I think when we're all set in our ways of this is what I think of a vehicle, we don't realize 10% of probably America actually only needs a pickup truck to do actual pickup truck things. I know people have boats and stuff like that, but if you're being honest with yourself, because I love a full-size truck, I've been itching to buy a Tremor. I have an F-150 Tremor. I've been itching to buy that, but I'm like, it's too late in this model year. Like, I'm going to wait for something, newer looking. But I don't need a Tremor pickup truck.
It starts $5,000 cheaper now. Just saying.
Yeah. Hey man. Well, and if I came
no
to
Salina,
Kansas,
no power seat, but
I bought from all of my other Ford friends. I've got to buy a Ford vehicle from you guys yet.
We'll find one.
But in reality, like, yeah, I understand. Like, if you're like, I need an 8-foot bed for whatever I'm doing, but most people, the truck is their car now. That's why they're so popular. The SUV, I remember in the Nissan in like 85. When they brought out the 4-door Pathfinder, they were so worried that people were going to buy a 4-door vehicle because it looked, people have only used to 2-door coupes. Coupes were everything back then. And so they hid the door handles in the Pathfinder. That's why they're hidden up into the top of the door, is so it didn't look like a 4-door vehicle. And then, slowly Ford caught on with Bronco 2. And then it turned into the Explorer and stuff like that. Most people's needs are 4-door vehicles, and something like this, I think, is definitely what most people need in life. My neighbor, perfect example. I just hooked her up with an EV charger. I get hit up all the time by these EV companies, and I was like, I don't personally own one. I told the EV company, I was like, but it'll go to good use. I'll do a video. I'll do a story on it. I'll give it to her. She's got a GM or a Chevrolet Trax, whatever the small SUV is. Her son bought a used Tesla. I get it. That's his generation. That's what they like. She liked it so much, she went and bought her own Tesla. And now the gas vehicle sitting inside, and she needed more of an SUV, but the Model 3 fits all that needs for her. and she's still moving around, you know, family. She still got the hatch for that. So that was her need. And then you look at, you know, we have the Bronco, the Raptor. I don't need a Bronco Raptor, man. I was perfectly in my Badlands, was probably more vehicle I still needed then. But, you know, you want to impress your neighbors or whatever reason our ego, we need the better all the time. And so I look at Fathom the same way. It's a car that can do truck things like Maverick. I've driven Maverick. I love Maverick. I would own a Lobo, especially you guys weren't there, but when we were at Michigan International Speedway testing the whatever they call it, it's an awful name, by the way. FP, SVT. I don't know.
It's an SVT.
Yeah, but it doesn't make the name doesn't make sense for where Ford is now. But dude, that was the most fun thing I've driven since some hot hatches, and that's what I consider like Maverick is more of a hot hatch to me that just sort of has an open bed to it. Tim, that thing is so much fun. Just out of all the vehicles I drove up there, the 800 horsepower Mustang, the 700 low horsepower Lobo, I would own the Maverick over all those. It was the most practical, but yet you could still have fun. I tell my son all the time, he wants a Subaru so bad. He wants a little whatever their sporty version is. And I'm like, dude, go Maverick. For one, it drives like a car. You can still do everything with your friends, whatever you want to pile them in. If you needed a tonneau cover for whatever reason, you can still put something like that on it to protect your stuff back there. But I was like, it's so, especially that the hopped up version. Oh my God, man, 300 horsepower in that little vehicle is dynamite. Sorry guys, I get rambly, and I just came back from having a good Mexican dinner with a few margaritas. So
you think that drives nice? You really ought to drive a Tremor, and if they should put that 300T in the Tremor, and you could almost call it a Maverick Raptor, because that thing I had a Tremor for a long time, and that thing drove nice.
You're talking about the Maverick Tremor, right?
Maverick Tremor,
yeah.
Yes, and it drove. It felt like the Lobo does, because I've driven the Lobo as well, because that embargoed event you guys did, you were embargoed for a certain time, but I wasn't, because I had it on a lot. So I did a video, and I took it out on the old drag strip and said, this thing handles great, you know, but it felt a lot like my Tremor when I had the Maverick Tremor that I had.
Maverick Tremor's price point though is what killed it. Like, it's just too expensive. Even when they did the sort of model refresh, it just was still too expensive in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the look. What they did, the one I had, they didn't have that look to it. I like what they've done on the current one, but man, that thing is fun to drive, because it's based on that advanced 4-wheel drive from the Bronco Sport Badlands and the 2.0, and it just, I mean, it's great. It takes off.
I've got to tell Ford though, could you please remove the blue plastics from Maverick? They don't go with anything. That's like almost like, hey, we don't want this to sell as well as it could. That's how I feel about their blue plastics in that vehicle.
Well, especially a lot of people don't like is you go with black appearance package, it still has the blue in it.
Yeah,
and it drives
it's awful to me.
Like, get rid of all of that. And I'm sure it's a production thing, but anyway, I think that add that 300T, add the turbo to a Tremor, Maverick Tremor, and you might have a Maverick Raptor.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I mean 300 horsepower isn't like what a Raptor is, but
for the size of that vehicle,
it could handle it. I mean,
oh yeah. What was funny too, we went to that day, and of course Ford Performance, or Ford Racing now, was out there, and they're like, oh, we got this, you know, our Bronco Raptor with our tune in it. And I was like, yeah, I've had that for like a year and a half, man. Like, it's not going to impress me. Yeah, and I even drove the one without the tune and then went to the tune. I was like, yeah, the tune does add a little. It's shifting points is where it really adds to me for Bronco Raptor. But past that, I'm like, I couldn't tell you either. You could tell me this had it or didn't have it. I would never know. But no, the Mustang was ultimately super fun because I drove a manual transmission version too. So having first gear hitting 65 or whatever I hit in first gear with like your face melting into the back of the seat was fun. But at the end of the day, I would rather have the Maverick.
Well,
it's price point.
Because that event you went to was a Ford Custom Garage event for the most part, right? All this is available. And so right now there's a lot of things they're having dealers do. And one of them is, hey, we can do the Whipple supercharger, on trucks or, Mustangs or whatever. And we're like, so what is it? So the retail price is the same as the ones that we install here that we buy already through Ford. So it's like, but we were like, okay, so it's the same price. We make just as much as we make on this one, but now my technicians can make money too. Because now we have technicians putting in those superchargers that are qualified to do it. It's keeping them busy and it's making them money. And it's no difference for us. So we won't buy any of those when Ford, because Ford will have them already built. Hey, these are at the plant, ready for the supercharger to go in. Do you want any? It's called the I don't know, they call it something. And so you can do it. So right now, the Bronco Sport packages where you can do them after the factory and put them on. Like there's a bunch that every month they tell us, hey, when we do our wholesale call, hey, there's a Bronco Sport or there's a Bronco Big Ben that has this package on it ready to go. Do you want it? And we're like, yeah. So a couple of them we've gotten because when we needed the hail damage and we needed Broncos, we took them. We took anything we could get our hands on. But now it's like, that's probably the only way we'd get them is those. But like the supercharger ones, we're like, no thanks. We can get from Roush, we can get them from Ford Performance and their Whipples, and we could sell them for the same. They're not any cheaper.
Yep. And
our guys can stay busy on them. So like, yeah, when I think you had mentioned that. I'm like, yeah, we've been doing that. We've been putting those on all year. So it's not a big deal. And
if you notice, I didn't do a lot of coverage from that because I was like, a lot of this has just kind of been out. The Bronco
300T had been out.
The Rose, whatever Bronco that I covered was new, but after that, I was like, I've seen all this. Ford Enthusiast says I'm just a truck guy. No, to be honest, out of all the vehicles I've owned specifically for my company, the Mustang's the one I would have kept. I love that car on Sunday mornings to just go out by myself and drive and just enjoy it. That's the most fun vehicle I've ever had. But no, I mean, trucks tend to be more practical we were just talking about, are more practical for your daily life.
Yeah. My husband misses his Mustang. He's like, when the boys graduate, let's buy ourselves a convertible. My answer was, the Bronco. He goes, I meant Mustang. I was like, well, they're both convertibles.
Well, let's switch gears and we're talking trucks. Let's talk
I know. I was like, going to suggest this, Tim. I know where this was going.
Let's talk about the Bronco truck. I mean, so I don't know where this, all of a sudden it was like Thursday, Friday, it just started coming out. And I'm not sure where it came. I know that, what is it? I think I had some sources. I have to find sources for things. Autoblog put an article out and so did Hot Cars about the Bronco truck. Have you gotten any information on it being a journalist?
Well, so I've wrote about this for 4 years. I've talked about this and wrote about this a little bit. It's amazing to me when Bronco came out, instantly hit, they show a Gladiator. There was pictures of a Gladiator sneaking into their testing grounds, and they were pinning against what they were going to do. And this was like early 2021, somewhere in there. And everybody's like, oh my God. And then you start seeing the renderings and stuff. And you're like, well, yeah. And I've told Kelly many times, if they did a Bronco truck, I'm all in, man. Cause I loved my Gladiator. It was, honest to God, I felt like it needed more power and it drove like a Jeep, which is not the most pleasant thing. But I kind of like I got a truck. It's a Swiss Army knife to me, a vehicle. It doesn't do anything well, but it does everything. So the idea that Ford was kind of playing around with that back then, if they would have done it back then, I wouldn't own a Raptor right now. I would have a Bronco pickup truck. And then Ford announced, hey, we're not doing that. And they officially announced that back then. It's like, okay, well, darn. Well, then my little birds were showing me pictures and photos of another one sneaking in to their testing grounds, a brand new one they bought to bring in. And believe it, yes, they do buy these vehicles to bring in. It's not the other brand just donating a vehicle so they can pivot off each other. They have to go buy them. And that's a whole story into itself on how they can actually buy these things, because they hide how they do it because they don't want that manufacturer knowing. But so in 22 and a half, 3, another one snuck into the old testing grounds. And, this popped up again of like, oh, Ford might be looking at that. But now I'm pretty sure they're going to do it. But I think what people are going to be disappointed with it is I don't think it's going to be under this Gen 6 platform. I don't Gen 6 is almost done. I know we've been out for 6 years, something like that. Usually if they go by Jeep standards, you get 10 years out of this platform. And I really think Ford is going to stay close to that. But I also think as soon as we see the next Wrangler, they pivot into, in a year and a half, you see the next Bronco. Like they don't want to give Jeep too many of those customers back that they've earned with Bronco. And I think a way that you do that is you launch at the same time you launch Bronco. You do a video just like they did in 2020 of, how the Bronco Sport came out through the desert, and here comes the Bronco, and you had 3 of them driving through the desert.
Yeah.
I think you do that once again. You just rely on that, and you show a truck version of it. And what Jeep's biggest mistake with the Gladiator was the bed. It's too long. And it's a short for our 8-foot guy who liked his 8-foot bed. It's way too short for him, but it doesn't fit the vehicle as well as I think it could. And I think all the renderings we've seen, the way that people do the Bronco, leaving the 4 doors the way they are, and you put like a little 5-foot bed on there, perfect. Once again, I think Ford will prove it with their EV pickup truck. People don't need necessarily in their daily life these long bed vehicles. They just don't. Now, I remember Jeep when they launched Gladiator. This was a big, big deal for them. I was covering it at the time. Oh, you can put a motorcycle in the back of this. I've never seen a motorcycle sitting in the back of a Gladiator everywhere. Now, I don't live in the deserts of California, maybe where I would need that, but they acted like this was the bare minimum. People need to fit a motorcycle into it. And I'm like, no, they just want a pickup truck they can throw their camping gear back there that's going to get dirty. And that's it. They don't, if I'm hauling a 4-wheeler or something, for one, it's probably on a trailer. And 2, I'm not putting it in the back of my vehicle, because how many of those TikToks have we seen where people pull their 4-wheeler up in the bed of the truck and run through the cab and blow out the back window? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So the idea that Ford might, we got to say we're in, ground of, speculation that they might do this. I think it's smart for the brand, because we know the Ranger, who I was told was going to disappear by 29. Ranger's not selling well at all. I doubt you guys probably sell many at all, because you're a full-size kind of truck dealership where you're at. Rangers, if you look at their sales they're barely number 4 in sales right now. I love my Ranger Raptor. I think I think the Ranger platform is a great win, but we got a lot of competition for midsize. So I think that's where like Ford's now going, okay, what if we don't kill Ranger, we just move it to Tennessee, because we got this plant down here near Memphis that just is doing nothing. It's going to be their EV plant, but it's just open now to do anything they want. Let's move Ranger down there. Let's get that plant going. What a perfect vehicle to get that plant going too, because it's not high volume. You have no trained labor source. So it makes sense to put that where we can all work together to learn how to build vehicles in a vehicle that kind of doesn't matter for Ford. You take then Michigan Assembly Plant, who loves Bronco, and historically it's a Bronco plant. I will personally say I think they could move Bronco out of it and sell more if they were in a bigger plant. But they've got this weird, we have to make it there. But if you do that with a Bronco truck there, who now Michigan Assembly Plant knows how to build trucks, like that's a home run for them, because the labor force is already trained. They know how to make it, manufacturing wise. It's not going to, they'll retool a little bit, but it's not like they have to do the whole plant to build just, trucks with the Bronco. I think it could be fun. I think that's where you see the next hybrids, because it makes sense for that thing to be a hybrid, because pickup trucks fuel economy is not as great.
That's what I think that I read on one of the articles. They were saying that, that it's going to be, so I think one of the dealers came out and told like Automotive News or something that Ford's bringing out a gas or hybrid truck. And we think that this is going to be the truck. It's going to be, first they got to bring out the hybrid and the Bronco, but they may happen the same time. And I think it's going to be the next gen. I don't think we're going to see the hybrid in this gen. I think it will be the next gen. And then that's when the Bronco, I think they bring it out at the same time. So I think that'd be very interesting. I think that where they were speculating is because they say that the Ranger will move to that Tennessee plant. And so when that happens, then they can make the truck there, or they can make the Lincoln Bronco you talked about,
which can happen too. I think though, you've been to Michigan Assembly Plant, right? Or seen it?
I haven't.
It's probably Ford's smallest plant. It's and they can't grow where they're at in Dearborn. It just can't grow. They've maximized that. It's an old 50s, 60s plant that maximized everything it could back then, but the world's changed and they really can't make it grow anymore. I've walked all through that plant. Love it. The people there were very friendly to me. I got to somehow see my Ranger Raptor being built. I can't say how I saw that, but that was really cool to see that. And the people were just, everybody I talked to on the line was very nice. And the people that let me in there was like, hey, don't take pictures, obviously, but, talk to whoever you want. The people there, they love Bronco. And to give them another Bronco would be outstanding, I think. I think they would love that. I just don't know that, have you, and once again, you've probably never seen the Toledo Jeep plant. That thing is massive. Like, they know how to crank out 200,000 Jeeps a year. They just know how to do it. And I don't know if you keep adding on Bronco with Michigan Assembly, if they can keep up with what Jeep is doing. So maybe they initially get it going there. And if it takes off, it moves to Tennessee with the Ranger. And that you leave Michigan Assembly plant dedicated to Bronco so they can crank those out. But I like the fact that Ford is, Ford used to be a very conservative company. They just did, here's the boring cars. The old Escorts. We're going to make these are just volume movers where this is what we're going to do. And we don't live in a volume world anymore. We live in a people want special vehicles. And I commend them for even if they're just thinking about this still, good for them, man. Because Gladiator, by all rights, Gladiator was going to be a one and done. They built it. Sales are, I don't know, depending. They have weird spikes for sales that nobody can ever understand why. Like 1 month they sell 25,000 of them. The next month they only sell 12,000 of them. I don't know if it's due rebates or whatever, Jeep does, but it's proven that people like this kind of a vehicle. I took the doors off my Gladiator all the time. I will say this, Ford people, Jeep did a way better job. It's easier to take the Jeep doors off than it is the Bronco. Easier to put them back on. The hard top, not so much on the Gladiator. That's a pain in the butt, but it was, I had one today. I had one in front of me today. Doors off. I was like, that looks weird. Oh yeah. It was a soft top Gladiator and they had it folded back down. And I was like, man, I miss kind of having a pickup truck that I could go to Lowe's or wherever. And, worry about, I guess, if people steal all my stuff inside, but I could leave the doors off and have fun with it. And Bronco makes sense, because there was a little Bronco pickup truck. So historically, kind of makes sense. Do you think they would put a big bet on this, Tim, or do you think they just it's something completely different than Bronco?
I don't think it'll be huge. I don't think it will be as big as the Gladiators.
Right.
But yeah,
it needs to be proportioned correctly to look good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're toying around and been talking about different, sizes and different options and everything. And I know that, I got to participate in a research, study, at Easter Jeep Safari this last year. So that's why I can't really talk about what, I saw there and everything else. But I know they're toying around with all kinds of different things that they're trying to, they've heard from the community. They've heard, that you wanted these things, which again, I can't mention, but they're toying around with, hey, how would this look? Do you like this? Do you don't like this? They're basically just getting everybody's opinion that we're as part of that study of, do you like this design? Do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? And so, like I said, I can't tell you what was viewed in there, but they want to see what people will want to get, and so we'll see.
Well, think about the profit margin in Bronco. There's huge profit. I know we were talking earlier about they could freeze their prices for a while, but Bronco still makes them a lot of money. They I know what a set of Badlands is damn near $70,000 now. There's not that many more added features to a Badlands than there is a base that's in 40. So you're talking good profit margin in these vehicles, and if you can have a truck that, even if it was a lower volume seller, say 15 to 18,000, which is what Ranger does right now, they'll take that all day long because it makes sense. Jeep did it very smartly with the Gladiator. The whole front of that vehicle is a Wrangler. It is. All the doors are the same thing as the Wrangler. They just had to restamp the cab a little bit and stamp a bed. And some of the underpinning is from their 1500 truck, I think. Can't remember. It's from their full-size line. Some of the framing is. But it was pretty low-hanging fruit for them to do that. So for Ford, this is low-cost effort. You've created a brand now. They wanted Bronco to be its own unique brand. They've done that, proven it can work. So why not expand that brand and give people? somebody was asking about a 2-door. My dream version would be a 2-door. You could do it now. You could take a 2-door and make it or you could take a 4-door framing, put the 2-door cab on it, and put a bed on the back, and boom, done. Like I think there's a need for 2-door vehicles for trucks, and that was one of the things that I've kind of seen with Fathom, going back to that a little bit, that I'm like, I kind of wish they might have done more of a 2-door, kind of Slate-like maybe, but it makes more sense for that truck to do 4-door. But I really do like the days of the old Nissan hard bodies or the S10s or the Rangers that were just 2-doors that you could buy for under 10 grand, whatever the price was back in the day. There's a need for that vehicle now. We've seen it with the economy right now. There is a need. If they could build a 2-door base Bronco truck, probably 35,000, people would be all over it, man. Because your doors still, no matter what, the doors come off. It's Bronco, so it's still going to be kind of modular. People would eat that thing alive, man.
Yeah.
Do they have a 2-door Ranger in Australia?
I think they have
I
a
don't think
super
so.
cab. I think super cab.
Okay.
They used to have a super cab one.
Mm.
I don't know if they still do or not. I think they do.
Yeah.
Because they have one with a flatbed.
By the way, I think Ranger in Australia is the best-selling mid-sized truck they make.
Well, that's
their full size.
What is
isn't
it for Europe? That's basically they don't have an F-150, so
Yeah.
that's their truck. Ford's
Well,
truck there.
F-150 is creeping down there now.
Is it?
Mhm.
Because I knew a lot of it has to do with just the fact they don't really fit on the roads very well.
Well, yeah, every province has their own unique, weird rules to that. I would love to go to Australia, but what a mess of owning a vehicle. That's an awful country to own a vehicle in.
Yeah.
Well, even
so-
in England and other places that were established before horse and carriage and whatnot, and then had to adapt to that, their roads are on the smaller side.
Yeah, and Ranger is still very important to globally for them.
Which is, I think,
And
why they
Europe,
can build it here, and they still
Mhm.
make money on it. It's the same vehicle.
Yeah. And I think they produce those in Europe too, right?
Yeah.
In
Mhm.
Australia.
Well, in Africa, I believe, is where
Yeah.
they're built.
Okay.
Somewhere in
So if they didn't make them here, they could still, they're making them, in other
Global.
parts.
Yeah,
of the
I want to
country,
say
so they can sell.
Thailand, Africa, and America is where they build Ranger, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Hey, there is a good question here. Bronco Rob was talking about it's going to have to tow more than 3,500. Well,
I was thinking that too. I was thinking about that.
what? So ideally, Tim, what is a good tow? Because you sell these things, you have a better understanding of what people tow with than I do. What would be a good tow, like 7,500? Because I think that's where Gladiator is.
That's where Ranger is now, 7,500. And I think that's where I think some people are expecting like the Rain or like the Bronco to be there. The 3,500 is just too little for a Bronco, that it should be able to tow more. And so Ragnacon said 5,500. I mean, I think all F-150s, it's like, I think even the 2.7 was like 7,500 to 8,500 for all that's F-150. But so I think it's got to be somewhere in that 65s.
I mean, what's a
at
small?
least 5?
What's a 16.5 foot boat, inboard boat? It's probably 5K, right? Weight wise,
Probably, maybe.
I mean, that would be the ideal thing you would tow with this. You're not gonna tow a 20-footer, with this, but you probably shouldn't tow a 20-footer with an F-150 either.
I saw a video of a guy trying to get off a boat ramp, and he had a pontoon boat on a Maverick.
Oh God!
It was an FX4, 4K tow probably, but I'm like, you're over 4,000 pounds, dude.
Well, and to get it hitched on and get the boat on it, he had to be like in the water, and so he's struggling to like really
the tires
get out
are
of
just spinning. It's wet cement, right? So there's just like it's just not going, and doesn't even. It's FX4, so it
I
doesn't
think
even
he
have a rear locker. or
If it's a
anything.
video I saw, he eventually got it out with the
Yeah,
boat still
he did.
attached.
You got momentum
Oh.
going.
That's what they did. They turned on the boat motor.
Oh.
So they used the boat motor to give it extra. He backed down a little more. The boat motor gave it extra power to push up and out.
That's funny. So
Anyway,
most of the chat seems to be about 6,000, probably. I want to say Gladiator 7,500, and I probably 65 would be okay. You can't go under what Jeep does, or else they're just going to eat you alive
yeah.
with ads of like, hey, yeah, you're not really a truck.
Just like Ford
Radcon
does
brought
with
up a
their
good point.
150s and
You go into 7,500 pounds, and you started getting to more truck suspension, less off road. But let's be honest, man. Like kind of Gladiators in that same boat though, and they do sell them. I see enough running around my town that when I did take my Gladiator off road, it was an awful experience only because I couldn't get the traction control to shut off completely. And I was in a spot where I needed to get into the vehicle a little bit to get out of a hole, and I had to be towed by a Bronco to get out, by the way. And I do have a video of that somewhere. But that was my only problem with that was because I usually like off-roading with pickup trucks. Kelly hates it. She would rather have something like an SUV Bronco style. I like off-road. Like I've had many Nissan Frontiers that I would take off-roading. That never bothered me, but I will say Gladiator was a little tough in a couple spots at Windrock because it's so long. But if they were to shorten that bed slightly, keep it similar to the size of the current Bronco, I think I really do. I think it's a good deal. Like in that vehicle too. I mean, am I going to take it down the Rubicon? No. And I know Gladiator people do that, but the Rubicon is not my benchmark of if it can't do this, it can't be an off-road vehicle. I know Jeep likes to hang their hat on that, and they talk about every Rubicon is Rubicon proven. Well, so what, man? Like the Raptor is Johnson Valley proven, but they didn't slap Johnson Valley on the side of the thing. Yeah. I think Ford is going down the right path. If they're really truly taking this thing seriously, and it sounds like they might be from all reports. I do have some thoughts I will probably write about this week on it. But no, I'm all for it, Tim. I'm very excited. And like I said, if it was the Gen 6 right now, if they would have done this 2 years ago, there'd be one in my driveway right now in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, and I had somebody who was camping beside that they had a Gladiator, and he said if Bronco made a truck like this, I'd buy one. So,
RiderCon says Gladiator 76 with the max tow package, 45 without.
Okay. I wonder what their max tow, probably on their not the Rubicon, but the other desert running one. I forget what they call it. I assume. And do it simple too. If you're going to build a truck, go that Fathom route, kind of what you were saying. Maybe they just do a entry level and high level. We don't need 15 options. Ford is the king of like over optioning everything. And I said it back when Bronco came, I said they have too many trims.
Will they call it the Ranchero, or they call it a Bronco? I mean, because Gladiator isn't a Wrangler. So
the original Gladiator was something completely different. For Jeep's historic plate name.
Well, if they use the Bronco name, then it would count as a Bronco sale.
Well, I wonder. No, I guess that Jeep does split Gladiator off in sales numbers.
Yeah,
that's that weird thing of like, do they keep mach-e different than Mustang? I can't remember.
Yeah,
because I guess it's just a completely different vehicle. I know manufacturers do like to hide vehicles into their sales figures like that. But no, I would just call it a Bronco, man. It's just the Bronco truck. Yeah. I don't know what you wouldn't.
We're gonna use that Ranchero name somewhere. Everybody's asking me. I'm like, well,
but Ranchero is not a good name. Yeah. Back when El Camino and that came out, El Camino is by far a superior, in my opinion, a far superior name than Ranchero. Just sounds, I don't know. It sounds like something my parents would have drove, where El Camino sounded more muscle car, which what it kind of was. And I had a neighbor who had like 5 Rancheros in their driveway. They loved that thing, and they would buy anyone they'd ever see. They go buy it, and so he had a parts bin of Rancheros.
So they repurchased Ranchero, which is why they keep talking Ranchero. Have they repurchased El Camino?
I don't think this Ford. I don't know. Did Ford have El Camino? Was that an El
No,
Camino?
that El Camino was Chevrolet.
Okay,
Chevy. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, because the whole thing about Ranchero is that they rebought the titling rights, or the
did somebody else own the rights to that vehicle?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was out there. It's just free for all.
So, like, if you aren't purchasing that trademark, it's a free for all. Someone else can purchase the trademark and say, "Nope, Ranchero's ours now."
And sometimes Ford will do it just so they can, just like they did with the Model T. They do that with the Model 3 or something, because Tesla couldn't use because they wanted to use the E or something, or there was some letter they wanted to do. You know how they do the S? It was supposed to spell out sexy or whatever, so the E was a 3, because eventually they wanted Model E.
Well, Toyota had that problem with the Tundra. They were calling it something T150 or something, or there was I forget. And Ford said, no, we're going to squash that one.
So if you might not have heard this, but there's a lady out there that purchased the trademark for Sierra Mist. She uses it for her Instagram handle. She purchased the trademark before Pepsi could repurchase it when it came up.
Well, Nissan. So Nissan.com is not Nissan. It's another man. It's a guy that manufactures something, and Nissan's been in battle for 20 years trying to get that. And the guy has no real legal reason to give it up, and they've offered him millions and millions of dollars. He's like, no, this is my company's name. I use this name. You just were not smart enough to grab it when the internet popped up. And now, so that's why it's Nissan USA, not Nissan when you go to their website.
Which, that's my opinion, is that they just purchased Ranchero so no one else can use it. They just want to keep it. So
yeah, I'm sure, like your dad was saying, I'm sure there's a stable of things they kind of keep tabs on or
Oh yeah.
Well, Lobo isn't its own model, but they got it, and that's it's a package, right? So could Ranchero not be a package? That's what I was wondering. I'm like, I wonder if that's gonna be a package like on the Maverick or something.
Like your audience is saying that Ranchero. I don't know. Rancheros is Mad Nomad said it's a terrible name. I feel like it's a terrible name. I was so happy when the little EV truck came out and they were like, no, it's not. It's something new. I was happy because I did not think Ranchero was I still don't think Maverick was a good name, but now I've grown to it where it seems to fit that. But I remember going, why Mavericks? I remember Mavericks being like a turd Pinto thing.
They just need to rename the Maverick. It needs to be an F name because all the trucks are Fs. Well, I guess Ranger's not, so that never mind.
Well, it used to be an F100.
Yeah, F100, F150. A lot of people said it should have been the F50, the Maverick. But I'm like, well, the Ranger, where are you leaving that out?
F100,
75, 700.
Well, this is like, so I dropped that video on the Lincoln Bronco, what I think they would call the Continental, and I had ChatGPT weigh names for me of like, hey, historic Lincoln names, give me like the top 5 historic names, and where would you like with Bronco, like, or with Ford in general, like that's a tough one. I mean, they've got a lot of good nameplates they could throw out there. Yeah. Bronco, you're not going to bring something brand new in because you don't want to spook your audience into like confusing your audience a little bit. So it's got to be something historic. That's why I just think you just leave it alone. This is our Bronco truck. That's it.
Yeah. Radmicron says, I would be okay with bringing back Mercury, making it the EV brand. That's one that he's heard kicking around.
Mercury, I think of cheap. It was a cheap brand for Ford back in the day. I don't think of, but now I'm obviously the older audience that will remember that, and your younger generations may not understand that.
Mercury was the one that made the similar to the Escape, right?
To the Ford. It's basically a Ford, like the Mercury Mountaineer.
Okay.
Mercury, and they had the
I
Mercury Crown Victoria Mercury brand, whatever
so
that was.
If they're gearing towards the younger audience instead of an older audience, Mercury might be something that they could use because we don't think of it that way. It's just Mercury. It's just something that was out there.
Just don't use Saturn.
Yes. Well, I don't think we're in any.
I'm just thinking of planets here: Mercury, Saturn, Mars.
Just call it Earth. Trademark Earth.
Right.
So they're eating me up about Mercury.
Actually one of the top. We were the #1 Mercury Mountaineer dealer in the entire United States one year.
I bet you hung your hat on that one.
Yeah, we did. We flipped everyone. Like the leases were like super cheap on them. We flipped everybody from Ford Explorer to Mercury Mountaineer, and we were able to get as many as we could get back then. And it was crazy.
So they're all like eat me alive about Mercury. I'm sure, obviously that's before my time of reporting on vehicles, but I remember Mercury being cheap to me. It wasn't the premium. I thought of Lincoln as the
Everybody skipped the names. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the Mountaineer. So that's when I started selling those brands. Those things were out when I was selling. I sold Mercury Mountaineer Mariners and Mercury Monterey's. I sold those. It really for us as a dealer, it was a little upscaled because
it probably was.
Mountaineers really got the leather and stuff like that. So it's more of
That's what they're saying. It was in between Ford and Lincoln. It was a good in between.
Yeah.
Are they all M's?
Montego. Yes, I remember that. That was the Taurus counterpart. Was
Okay.
Montego. So
The designs were
Marauder.
never good to me. Like the
that would be a
Taurus would
good
always
one.
look good. And it was like they slapped some ugly front end on it and called it a Mercury for whatever version it was going to be.
Yeah, just a different grill and some badging, right?
If you really want to get the younger generation, go with Marauder. Super Harry Potter fans would go for that.
Okay.
The Marauders. Give it something sporty or something like that. Make some trouble. You have Marauder.
What's another horse name that they could make for the instead of Bronco for that truck? Let's start coming up with names. Let's help Ford out here.
Stallion.
Well, so somebody posted on my I'd have to look it up, but on my Lincoln Bronco, I forget what they said something horse like, and I was like, I just can't see. They don't want any for me, like for that, they don't want any relationship touching. It's got to be its own thing for that. But truck, yeah. Do you call it the Stallion or I don't know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not a horse person, so
Broncs are unbroken horses. Other spellings are Bronco, Mustang, which they already have. Other than that, you just have like bucking horse and things like that. So using something like a stallion or something like that would probably be more.
What if they called the Bronco truck the Wild Track? You know why that tracks? Because they have a wild track. Wild Track in Australia is big for Ranger.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Although they're using it right now, you get a Wild Track package now. What's really funny is, so I could have sworn today's notes for scheduling, they mentioned that the best configuration you can get is a Badlands 2.3 with a Wild Track. And I thought Wild Track package, the whole point on it was required the 2.7. I'm like, 2.3 Wild Track? I don't know if I'd want that.
You could have the mule.
The mule.
Your pack horse.
Yeah.
There you
go. Of course, the one right under that, they didn't like my thoughts of Mercury. Hey guys, I've covered the industry since 2015. Guess what? I paid zero attention to Mercury. That's what I always paid attention to Ford for F-150. I was a kind of a Taurus fan. I used to like that vehicle, but Mercury's never. I think is why it's not here anymore. If a lot of people thought of the way people do right in this chat about Mercury, it'd still be here.
Right.
Ford donkey.
The donkey. So if you did Bobcat, that could be the 4-door Mustang.
You know what though? I think I want to say Dodge or somebody has the rights to Bobcat.
I think they're using Mach 4 for the 4-door.
Oh, okay.
I think they've already even said that.
Clydesdales are your horses that carry the wagon.
Your heavy duty. Yeah.
Your heavy duty.
There you go. Let's trademark these now.
Okay,
let's get on GoDaddy and start buying all these websites up.
Buy all these things.
Thoroughbred would be a racing brand. Thoroughbreds are your racing horses.
Hey, I still miss that they didn't call the Raptor the Warthog. I thought that was a better name for that.
And somebody mentioned they could be called the Warthog.
Yeah,
I
mean that is a plate that they probably do own the rights to all that. So
you
do realize
there you go.
Raptor was 50-50 whether they called Raptor. It was Warthog or like they were really last minute on that.
Yeah. So that's another term, rough stock. That's another term for a Bronco. They're typically unbroken.
He will take the money for that name.
I don't know.
That's funny. Well, I'm sorry I upset your audience thinking less of Mercury, Tim.
Tell you what, I don't know. I just remember it just because that was back in my day of when I was selling. And so we sold a lot of Mercuries. But yeah, I remember that. I actually won when I was on a Lincoln, town car. We did a walk around contest within the dealership here, and I won the walk around contest on a town car, Lincoln town car. I remember that. Hey
Tim, can I ask you one? Because I know you're trying to wrap up too, but what would you call the Lincoln SUV that from my video? Where would you land with that?
I don't know.
Did you have anything in mind that you think of like, this is what I think they should call it?
I don't know, because my assumption, from what I understand, is they're gonna make it to where it won't have a removable top because it needs to be quiet. Did you mention that too? Maybe that's
yes.
Where I got that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it'll be a solid roof
gotta
vehicle. It won't look like a Bronco.
it's going to compete against that what's that Mercedes version? Actually, I
Oh,
think
the
one of the articles
G-Wagon?
mentioned that. Yeah, right. It wants to go
Yeah.
after that and some of those, and I don't know though. I mean, like you said, if they were trying to repurpose other names, they might try to do something like that. But
I landed on Continental because I thought, well, it makes sense. It's a worldly vehicle. Like it's, you can do anything in this vehicle. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I
yeah,
was leaning with their historic nameplates. But
Everest.
well, they have an Everest now though.
Oh, do they?
yeah,
Okay.
we
They
could
have a
still see
Ford
that.
Everest.
We could still see that one in the United States. Don't count that one out just yet.
Yeah, hopefully, right? See that? I don't know.
Just
I don't
call
know.
it Fred.
Call it Fred.
You know where the Everest makes sense though? If they move the Ranger to Tennessee, it needs a build buddy.
Ooh. Yeah.
So, question: if they keep with the aeronautical theme, like they are with the Aviator, Nautilus, Corsair, that kind of thing, would it be more of an aeronautical or like a name that would go along with that?
Yes.
The B-52?
Like the Lincoln Lear or the Gulfstream, something like that.
Well, a lot of those names too are like World War II planes, right?
I think
Because
so.
Corsair is, I know. I mean,
they
obviously
are.
there was the Mustang, but you can't.
So you need to do a deep dive on nautical names or aeronautical names.
Yeah.
See what fits best.
We just call it my buddies at Lincoln. I'll find out. I'll see. They'll tell me. That's the one brand I have zero connection to. It's funny. Out of all for
Blackwood.
doing this,
Remember they did the Lincoln Blackwood truck?
I got a lot of that in the comments of Blackwood, and I was like, I don't think fondly of the Blackwood when it was a pickup truck. So I don't know. That was ugly with those weird stripes down the bottom of it, and Cadillac almost did that too
from F-150 sales. So
Cadillac tried to make a truck.
I think we might see. I don't know. I feel like Ford already makes some pretty good luxury trucks, but I heard that they're talking about having some, more luxurious trucks to compete against Denali trucks or something.
I mean, there are like Lincoln's kind of a lost brand. Occasionally they have their moment and then they just sort of fade away again. Like I remember there was a time in maybe the late 2009 era where they were really competing neck and neck with Cadillac and then just kind of went away again. Like, I don't know if Ford doesn't want to justify the money that it costs to keep a luxury brand going or what.
I'll tell you what, if you get in we still do the Lincoln, they use like Lincolns and we still source them.
Y'all used to be a dealership, right? For Lincoln?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commodore.
And then they wanted us to go away, so we did. Thanks for a little payout on that. But we still have them though, and like we've gotten some of the new Lincoln Navigators and such. And you put those products, they will. I mean, the drive, the quality, the quietness, those vehicles, like there's a lot of people don't know what they do perform. To the Corsairs. Like even the Lincoln Corsair, there's more that goes into Lincoln Corsair than any of the vehicles that size, luxury cars. They have the double walled firewall. Like that thing it's made to be quiet. And the clamshell design on the back that nobody really does or anything. I mean, that thing is a really well-built vehicle that just doesn't get noticed. There's a lot of people that they'll drive several ones and then they'll land on the Lincoln because it just drives so much better than some of the other, in that same line. And
I think they have a branding.
Nice.
They've got a branding issue though, man. Their logo, which I like, I don't think it resonates with younger buyers. I've seen other brands struggle with logos a little bit. Toyota didn't have anything. Then somewhere in the 90s, they decided they needed that person kind of with their hands up in the air, a circle. Nissan struggled with their logo for a long time, and now they kind of went minimalist. But now minimalist is out. Like people don't want they want more two kind of logos. I maybe that's what it takes is you relaunch Lincoln. It's still the same luxury brand, but you just relaunch it as this is the new Lincoln, and something more fitting than, I don't even know what you would call the kind of cross thing they do, but
I don't know. But from what I understand, Lincoln though in like China is just like the premier vehicle. Like they People
Them
will
and
get
Buick are,
Lincolns
yeah.
that get driven around. Like
Yeah,
they
them
don't
and
buy them
Buick
to
are-
drive.
Well, you know why
Yeah.
that is? Because in World War II, they dumped a bunch of Lincolns and Buicks over there. And when kind of the communism or whatever took over of all that area, that was the only vehicles they had. And those were the premier vehicles. Yeah, both of those brands in that area are like, that's their, like, GM doesn't sell Cadillac really over there. And you would think, oh, it's Cadillac. No, Buick for GM is the luxury brand, and Ford, yeah, like they love those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And then if
Yeah,
you're in Cuba, you're just hoping for any kind of parts of those vehicles because they're still driving the same 50s Lincolns around.
We went to the plant. The one that we got to tour was the plant that did the
Explorer hybrid and
the plugins and stuff.
the plugins.
The SHO plant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's when we got to go to, and they said most of those Lincolns aren't staying in the U.S. Most of the ones they built, they're going to Europe.
Well, that's
So they're
Buick
going-
for GM is like that. They move a lot of them across town or across the country.
which is why they've moved a lot of production over there. But
You know,
So-
you were talking about the quality in Lincoln, you know, the double wall stuff like that. I got to experience that when I worked for Nissan. They built the when Pathfinder went to that unibody kind of more family minivan-y big style than more the rugged SUV. Infiniti built their, what at the time they called it, I think, a J30. I think it's now called a Q35, something like that. But when we were setting up the production line for it was the first time they were going to let Infiniti back in the United States, because I guess Canton, Mississippi built one at one time. It was just garbage. People thought the quality, it was not worthy of being a upper tier vehicle. So when the town here got the latest Infiniti, like it was a big deal again for the plant people. But I got to see firsthand how even the consoles were built off a separate line. They were completely different than what, like, the quality went in. They had cameras. After you would build a console, they had cameras that would go through that console inspecting everything. And where the Pathfinder version didn't get that kind of stuff. And like the quality that they were putting into that was matching, maybe not the price point to me, but it was definitely. So I bet Lincoln does the same thing that you're talking about, Tim. Like they just extra, everything is 2 times what we would put in the Ford version.
yeah,
So your Lincoln logo is the North Star, symbolizing a guiding light for luxury, innovation, and navigation. Or, you know, a compass pointing in the 4 corners of the world. So, I mean, there's history behind it. It goes along with their aeronautical thought
Mhm.
process. You know, go shoot for the North Star. So,
Well, there we go. History with Sarah.
Yeah.
I like looking at the history.
I had
of
forgotten that it
things.
was a North Star.
Yeah,
I
because they
knew-
made
I
a
knew
North
it was
Star, right?
something
Didn't
like
they have
that.
a vehicle called the North Star?
I think something like it.
I do like the ones where some of the upscaled ones where the Lincoln logo lights up on the grill.
Did-
That looks
So
really cool.
you watched my video on that Lincoln, I assume, Tim. I mean,
Mhm.
you didn't have to, but have you seen some of the other renderings? I've got, like, I'm going to brag on myself for a minute. I spent a lot of time with ChatGPT building that. It wasn't just like I said, hey, do this, and that's what it came up with. The amount of Ford Bronco front ends that I just see with a big Lincoln badge on the front of it that everybody, all the so-called big name outlets do. I'm like, that it would never look like, I don't ever see it having Ford round lights like the Bronco and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The renderings have been pretty hideous to me.
Yeah, and like some of the, like, really, to be honest, there aren't any like shots of the Fathom yet. So all of them are renderings. And so
Well, wasn't there some
I mean-
live badged? I thought there was some, maybe.
the badged up one is a real
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
So the one that has all the
The
stuff on
wrap
it.
on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you can't really see how rounded the front is or anything. And so they did show it at the dealer meeting. Actually, this is the second year they've shown it. They showed it off last year as well. But they showed it at a dealer meeting. Again, I didn't get to go, so I didn't get to see it. But I've had people try to describe it to me, and they're saying what the renderings aren't quite it. So any of them that are out there, been told that the windows are more like, not like we have them where the windows come like up and there's a door, like there's a beltline molding.
Mhm.
There's nothing that's not there. Like they're really going for aerodynamics completely on this. And so there's a lot of things that are more, the windshield I hear is more slanted up and
Like a
some
car,
things like that.
basically, right?
Yeah. So, so anyway, a lot more aerodynamics, and interior room is, like they said, it's supposed to be comparable to the RAV4 or something.
Do you think they
But-
took their licks with F-150 electric and was like, okay, we learned, now we have a good idea of what modern people use these vehicles for. Clearly, it has to be more aerodynamic because of just the nature of EV. I assume they took their licks with that and said, let's re-engineer this.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
because this has been in the plans for a while, right? This isn't like, it wasn't like last year they just decided to build an EV. I remember talks of when Lightning hit the next generation,
because they said there would not be another one that would be mimic one that's already. They won't
Right.
make an EV version of any of the ones that are already out, like they won't, like they did on F-150. That was a one and done.
Yeah,
That all of them will be their own, entity, own redesign, own concept, right, or whatever.
Right.
So yeah. So, and I like where they're going. So hopefully, because I think it said that they're gonna make several of these off the same platform at the same factory and just be able to just kind of like they do with
them.
kind of like they do with most plants where they can roll a couple different vehicles through the plant. So hopefully, and it sounds like it won't be that long before we see the SUV version. So
Well, I haven't seen any Ford announcements yet that we would get before the general public, because I haven't seen anything on reveals yet. Now me and Ford EV don't always communicate well, but
I don't get anything anymore. So there for a while, I was like getting invited to things. Now it's like I haven't got invited to anything for a while. So I don't know if I'm on some.
Speaking of which, will I see you in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm going to SEMA.
Oh, nice. Well, you know where we got to do dinner. I never remember that. I don't know the name of that place, but Tim, I've been ever since that meal. I've been like, I need that meal again so bad.
Yeah, that was, what was that restaurant? I have to remember.
I don't know.
I don't
think Sarah was.
I remember where it's located.
Yeah, down by the Ferris wheel or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Was I there?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll probably come by myself.
I think Kelly and Jess will be with me on that trip.
So
maybe I need to go.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we need to get bosses. We need to get bosses okay on finance on that, because I can't afford to send another person. I'm waiting to get my flight tickets just so that I can get them for free through Southwest. It's like I need one more month.
I need Ford to host me is what I need. So a lot of people may not realize a lot of your names they want there, they will host those. They're not buying your love, but they're also paying for your room to stay there as long as you cover something on them. And so I need Ford or Toyota to please host me, please.
Yeah. Are you guys doing anything with Rebel this year?
I hate to. I mean, obviously there's a soft place in your heart for that, Sarah. But I've so early on I interviewed in 2017. I think I interviewed when that was really kind of kicking off. I interviewed some people, some ladies about that, and just nobody cared. And it's sad to me because I cared, but it was just kind of like, and I've had Jill Seminillo on, which you've talked to, I know in the past, and talk about it. And I don't think people just get it just yet. I think it's insider baseball still.
So this year's Ford's lineup is killer. They have Melissa navigating with Kristen Matlock, who's competed in Baja for like 20 years.
Hopefully they don't fight with each other.
They seem to be a good match.
Well,
last year's was not.
Melissa's a navigator.
Yes, so
because she's got a driver that's good enough, like this done Baja, so she doesn't need to drive. And
that's been her problem, is that she is a navigator at heart. That's her true place. But she hasn't been able to find a driver for herself, and so now she's found a driver, Ford found the driver
and a vehicle,
and she can focus on navigation, which is really where most.
That's the harder. People think driving. No, it's the navigation is the hard part.
Yes. But Melissa loves the navigation.
And and last year she was the driver on the Bronco Raptor. And I said, so how did it do? And she goes, it's too easy. She says that Raptor can go through anything you put at it. It can handle it all. So it's just like, it's so easy to drive. So she really, I don't think, had an enjoyable time because of how easy it was to drive. But I think this year might be fun. She's back to her roots of navigating, because she teaches people to navigate. And does some stuff with some other people and training and everything. So that's where she likes it. So we'll see.
Toby and Kara, who got 4th place last year. They have Carissa and Trista, who got 2nd place last year. Or no, they got 1st place, didn't they?
Well, the one that won, she moved over to Ford, right?
Oh, so that's Tara Lynn. Tara Lynn and Laura got first place, and then you had Chris and Trista get third place. So you have first or second place. So you have first, second, fourth, and then Melissa and Kristen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
So,
last year they reached out. They wanted
yeah.
Kelly to come out, and I forget why we didn't. There was a reason, because I remember I
Well,
think we talked to you about like, hey, we're supposed to be
You
out
had
here on
some
this date.
scheduling issues on the end.
Yeah.
yeah, there was some. I think last year was the first time they opened it up at the finish line for media, and I will say, or probably wouldn't do that again.
No.
Because they also opened up to families for the very first time too.
Yes.
And so it was 10 days that they're away from their spouses and everything else. It was so emotional, a lot of tears, a lot of crying, a lot of just happiness and different things. We felt out of place. It was really hard to come up and try to interview someone when they are hugging their spouse and giving them flowers and everything else. And it was fun to be there, but not to report on it.
Yes.
And
Well,
that's
they do
where
the
we
dinner
felt
at
like,
night, right? That night.
yeah, and we
The
had,
next day.
you have
Okay.
to pay for that.
Yes.
Like we had to,
And it's
if
like
we wanted to
a
do
couple
that.
hundred
Yeah.
per person.
Now, but what we're doing this year is at the beginning, though, you can do media can be there for tech inspection and such. So we're going to try to follow around Melissa's team. And she said we could go with the Bronco. We could follow along and see what tech inspection is like and film that.
Because I haven't
So-
seen a video where it's a complete walkthrough of beginning to end. What is tech inspection? What do you need to have out?
What's allowed?
What's allowed? What's going into this tech inspection? So I'm going to do a deep, intensive look into tech inspection.
I had some friends with the Xteras that did that early on with Rebel, and yeah, her husband and a few friends were their pit crew, and they got there, and it was like, oh, we've got to make a few changes that we didn't realize was
So
needed.
like I've been interviewing teams, and I'm like, so what should we expect from tech inspection? Just so people that are going into it can know what to expect from it. But
and then the second day, the day they do the prologue, whatever that first
the
day,
starting line,
you can be there at the starting line. Media can, and then
media
also
and families.
Media and families, and then also from the there's a course that they're going to go through that media can be a part of to see exactly what they go through.
Nice.
Before they can start, they have to plot their prologue points. So while they get their maps, they get their points, they get to go map that. While they're doing that, they're going to have some of the Rebel officials come in and teach us what they're doing and kind of explain what we're seeing them do. So
and media can watch them map their stuff, so we could film that as well. So we're going to break up into teams, and one of us go to one do the other, and so we're going to do that. And we use points for flights, so the flights aren't cost us anything. We just got to pay for the hotel, and
have they given location? Sorry, and I feel bad because I don't follow this very well.
Vegas is the start.
Okay.
Yeah, they're starting at the Speedway.
Oh, nice.
Vegas Speedway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they're doing the tech inspection at
there's
the
a
little lake,
Weston.
Las Vegas Lake or something.
Yeah, the Weston at Las Vegas Lake.
Which there's some off-roading right there. Easy trails. I looked at Onyx. I'm like,
there's some good
what's
Ford
we're gonna
Bronco stuff there.
I mean, we're gonna have an entire afternoon once we get there Wednesday.
We did last year we went for Rebel. We turoed a Bronco and it was a Sasquatch one. And then we went down into Needles, Nevada. And so we did a little off-roading on some of those areas where it's like right along the river, the Colorado River. It was really fun. We had a blast. But we used this Bronco. We like off-roaded with it. So I'm gonna use the same guy this year, and we're gonna go they're gonna hit a couple of those right. It's just right outside of Vegas, right there, and we're gonna go and do some of those because there's some overlooks and such, so that we'll have some fun with that.
I had a buddy that in Moab, he got in a wreck right before he was going to Moab, and he was supposed to lead these group of off-roaders around, and so he had to rent a truck. So he did rent an F-150 and made sure he got insurance on it and took it everywhere. I would hate to see underneath the vehicle, but he's like, I got the insurance. I don't care. They don't either.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
but I think for Rebel, there isn't a lot of coverage. There isn't a lot of people interested in it, but the people that are, I hope that they see the video and whatnot. So.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of female journalists that do that. So I guess it probably makes it hard to cover yourself.
It is because like Jill isn't competing this year. She had some stuff going on, but she's like, I mean, you aren't allowed to take a camera because they have location stamping and time stamping. So they aren't allowed to take those with them. They aren't allowed, like, they choose, I think, 3 vehicles each year that are allowed to have cameras.
Yeah.
And they do some vlogging with them. But that's it.
I'm
Other
amazed
than
with
that,
modern vehicles though, how they get the GPS and stuff out of modern vehicles. I know they hide the screens and
Yeah, some of them they just have to hide the screen completely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even at that, sometimes you can get the navigation on the productivity screen. So, you get that to deal with.
I have a question. Have you seen the Camp Snap? It's like a retro reusable camera, it's like those ones that you would take 20 pictures, take it, have it disposable. It's a disposable
like a Polaroid
camera.
or
No, it's a disposable camera, but it plugs into your phone, so you have like 100 shots, and then you can plug it in, take them off. So it's digital now, but you have no screen on it. There is no location stamping, and you can't check time and date on it until you go into the settings, which you can screw on. So I want to ask if that would be allowed out there, because you wouldn't be able to see anything until you plug it into your phone. Your phone's off.
yeah. Well, these are questions you're going to have to write down and ask.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
By the way, I've been meaning to text you and let you know. I think you're needing an autograph from a special person, right? Or she's going to be at the dealership on the 19th. I'll get you.
Can we make it a yellow ball by chance?
Oh yeah. It'll be has to be softball.
I meant to ask you about that, but I'm like, I don't bug those things, man.
Yep. So she's completed the contract, but one of the deals on the contract was an appearance, and she hadn't done an appearance this year. So she's coming to do that appearance on September 19th. And so, so that's coming up.
I know a person about 100 feet from me that would love that quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Well, we had some, and we'd gotten some. None of them were like signed for anybody particular, but we had some signed for one of it. It happened to be kind of a funny deal because my wife's para was a big fan of hers, and even bought her, because she has been in 2 Bronco Sports for us, and her other one she brought back and got into her new one. Well, that one was for sale, and she bought her Bronco Sport.
Really?
And so she's a big fan. So he had gotten her autographs because her dad actually worked for us years ago, passed from COVID. And so she was still kind of means a lot to the company and everything. So we got her autographs, and it happened to be Barb's para at her school. So she was able to give it to her, but the intent was to get the signature. So we'll hook you up. I'll make sure I get in line and get that done for you.
I just text you my daughter's name just in case.
I think Barb got it. So from Kelly, because we've been
you're smart. You're like
a while.
You're like me.
Do this for a while.
Brain, give that the brain, because I'll forget these things.
Because Kelly and Barbara talked about it in Tennessee. So
okay. See, smart, way smarter than me.
She mentioned. I said, I don't know when she's supposed to do an appearance, but we don't have any like that have been signed. So we'll get it with her name on it and everything. So
I would greatly appreciate that.
And even can get a picture with me with her if she wants.
Hey, we'll just Photoshop my daughter's head on there, and I'll be like, hey, when did you get so tall?
We should get a picture with the softball with her.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would.
She'd love that.
Anyway. I'm not requesting anything, man. We
greatly
appreciate it. You guys have been very kind to us, so we always appreciate the friendship and what we can do for each other.
Yeah, at one point I was thinking yesterday, I was like, I wonder if we could get Tim on this too, Estradal.
Oh, Tim would come on here. I'm sure you're friends with him on Facebook now.
Yeah.
No, he's aware of who you are.
Someday, but
he just had Tim recently bought an F-150 Power Boost, whatever. He had one when they first came out, and he bought one because he wanted to have a full-size vehicle to compare press vehicles that he gets to each other. And I guess he had hail come through there and just did $20,000 worth of damage or something, and they're going to total it. And but no, Tim's been a big Ford guy for a long time. He would love to talk to you. He might nitpick some things. Tim's very critical of every manufacturer. So
well, I don't work for Ford.
Well,
kind of, but
I don't know. I see a logo behind you. Well, Tim, I'm gonna let you wrap this one up, guys. Everybody, thank you for allowing me to chat with you. I'm sorry, Mercury fans, that I misplaced your beloved brand. But go to allterrainnation.com, check out the latest things I wrote about, and I appreciate it, Tim.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. And if you ever need me on yours, I'm always welcome.
If I can ever make time, like that's why I wasn't on this week, man. Softball.
I was really surprised you weren't going to be on talking Lincoln Bronco this week.
I wanted to, but we got into the championship game in softball. I didn't get home till midnight or so the next day, and then life kicks in, and I was like, I just don't have time.
Oh yeah,
I get it.
But thank you all for allowing me to be on here.
Thanks.
Bye, Tim. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
He kicked himself off like he knows what he's doing on that thing. Anyway. All right. Well,
it's
good stuff. Any other questions?
I just had one about dealership logos. You can either request that they don't add them. If they still put it on, you can go ahead, take a heat gun very gently and not too quickly. Don't want to heat it up too fast. Soften that adhesive.
For us. Yeah, it's some people, what they'll do is they'll actually have the vinyl letter that goes on. So it's a lot harder to like pull that off. But usually you take a heat gun to any of those, you just warm that up. And even if it's been outside in the sun for a little bit, that will work too. They'll pull right off after they've been in the sun, the hot sun. But yeah, they're just an adhesive. So we'll just heat gun it and then we'll pull it off slowly because we have to take other dealers off. When we get dealer trades in, and we have to remove theirs and put ours on. And ours, we put one on the vehicle and that's it. And it's, like I said, heat gun and it's one long piece.
Strip.
So it comes off real easy and it does not damage the paint either.
Yeah. Now if you are doing that and there's adhesive left on, I think rubbing alcohol or Dawn dish soap can get it off. If you're looking for like something that you would have in your house already.
If you go real slow, then it'll come off just without any issues.
Yeah.
On your truck, the logo is the license plate frame.
There you go.
Yeah, we have license plate frames, but you can take those off. Of course, you don't have to have them on there.
My husband, we work here. He doesn't allow us to put the McArthur decal on. Neither of our cars have it.
Mine doesn't have.
He's like, I work there every single day. I don't. People follow me there.
Mine's got a Ford video guy on the side. Instagram thing, but anyway,
I have Rebel Rally on mine.
So if you're looking for Dave, if you liked the conversation we had tonight, he's at All-Terrain Nation on YouTube, and you can find him there, and allterrainnation.com, I think, website too. Is his website, but you can find him on all the socials as well. Website? Yeah, he writes articles. So
I didn't know.
He is an automotive journalist.
Yes,
and so he does get invited to a lot of events and everything. Where sometimes I don't because I'm also a dealer. So that's why I think a lot of times I haven't been invited to some of the more recent ones that he's been invited to, and just because he's been at it for a little while and been covering it for a while, and he's part of a lot of automotive groups and everything, and what do you call them, associations. And so, I know he does the big one down in Texas that I'd like to go to, but Texas won't allow me since I'm a dealer because they bring in a lot of other manufacturers. So they don't want me to come in as a dealer to just kind of get to drive other vehicles for competition and go back. So, which I get, but so anyway. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a long night and I knew it'd be some great conversation and everything, but when Dave and I get together, we just kind of pick each other's brains and see what we think about things. And anyway, so yeah, looking forward to it. Like I said, there's stuff that I've seen at dealer. I haven't been to the Ford dealer meetings, but some of the information's come back that I've been able to see and to get. I don't think I infringed on anything tonight because everything we talked about with things that we've seen other journalists put out there.
Don't forget to cite your sources.
That other dealers, I'll put those links in the comments. Or down in the description of the video and the podcast for those that listen to the podcast. And we can put that in there because, a lot of them are getting it. So what's funny is a lot of their dealers that will come out of the meeting and automotive news, and some of them will say, hey, what can you talk about? What did Ford to talk about? And some of them will. Some of them will talk about things they're not supposed to. But I kind of think, sometimes I think Ford really wants it to get out, though, some things, because they want the competition to say, they don't want the images out, but they kind of want the thought process or some things that's going on. And I think there are a lot of new, like I said, we have a lot of refreshes and next gens coming between F-150, Super Duty might be. I know Maverick, Bronco Sport, if they do a Bronco Sport, I don't know if they do away with it. We got a new Bronco coming, right? A 7th gen Bronco coming. We know at some point, and hopefully by 2030, which could bring a Bronco truck. I don't know if they decide to do it or not. Like I said, what I got to participate in Easter Jeep Safari was more of a think tank of here's what we're showing you. What do you like? And so I can't talk about what I was shown, but I can tell you that they want to find out what people really want and get out there. And so it's pretty cool to see so there's a lot of things that they're working on. And so we'll just have to wait and see if what they showed us that they actually do. Because there was even some other, concepts that they were looking at with the Bronco, in mind. So it was kind of cool to see and be a part of. But also to tell them what I think about the Bronco being a Bronco driver, which is why I was invited, was because I own a Bronco. And they even knew I was a dealer and they were okay with that. So, but anyway, so we'll have some fun with that. But yeah, I think the only thing that they've really 100% confirmed is that they're bringing out another truck that's going to be a hybrid and gas available. And they mentioned that. They mentioned a 4-door Mustang, that's happening. I mean, I think even Farley had said that. We know we're getting a next gen Maverick soon. We know we got a Fathom coming. We know an SUV off that same platform coming and a van off that platform. A lot of cool stuff coming. And it was about this time, like 3 to 6 years ago, that this all was popping off. We had the new Bronco the Bronco came out, 6th gen Bronco came out, right? Followed by the F-150 Lightning. We had the Maverick coming out. We had the Bronco Sport coming out. All these were hitting, and now it's time for the next gen models of all these, right? So we have some exciting things coming in the next couple of years, between now and 2030 at least. So we'll just see. It's exciting to see what's coming out. But, it'll be fun. So anyway, it'll be fun for us to be able to bring it to you guys as well. Maybe not be first, but hopefully the most thorough. One of Dave's also very thorough. But anyway, all right. That's what we have for this week. Unless you have any other questions or any comments or anything.
I don't think so.
I had started some earlier. I think he brought this up. Also, will Super Duties made in Canada to be more expensive compared to the ones? Their prices are set. Doesn't matter where they're made. Their price is their price. They can't price it differently for the ones in Canada versus the ones that are made here. So what is that? Oakville assembly plant there in Canada is going to start making Super Duties. I think they are going to be making now more higher end ones. So Ford's going to probably be able to then take care of some of the costs for the the tariffs and everything. But yeah, so I did like this comment too. He said, whatever they do in the Bronco Sport, get rid of the 1.5 liter. I really think they should just do like what they're doing especially now, right? When only 10% of the Mavericks, it was 50-50. Now 10% of the Mavericks will be EcoBoost. There's more 2.0 liters available for Bronco Sport. So why not make it available? I was really surprised if they didn't make that shift. Why we couldn't see an option for a 2.0 liter in an Outer Banks, especially if you go Sasquatch package gets you the 2.0 liter engine, right? Some fun stuff like that. So it would have been nice to see that. I do like this comment too, that trimmer package on the Maverick XLT was great. They're doing that. They make a cheaper Lobo. Why not make a cheaper trimmer? And I think that was something they went away from, but Oh, and then somebody else also mentioned this. They said, are you going to build a 300 horsepower Maverick trimmer? We are seeing, because some of those parts for those were available. Like the turbo and stuff like that was supposed to be available. And as long as it was an all-wheel drive with the cooling and everything, you could put it on it. And that's all-wheel drive. There's no reason why it couldn't be put on a trimmer, right? So, yeah. But I do know we're planning to get some of those 300T packages. So anyway, so we'll just have to see. And Ford Enthusiast said, because I said they didn't take anything away from the trimmer. Well, technically they did. They took away the AutoStar stuff.
Right.
You might have seen that comment there too. But And then how many two-door Super Duty solid trucks? What was that, Tim? Just an estimate. How many two-door Super Duty solid trucks do you sell? The only ones that we get. So when Ford makes us do a regular cab, we turn them into high boys, and we don't really sell them very often. Now, when we first got a bunch of the chassis that we were going to make into high boys, that a couple of them we let go to the lot, and a couple of them did sell pretty quick. So we have sold a couple that haven't been high boys, but most all of them are going to be high boys. And, we usually try to keep several in stock at a time. We got a couple more in production because we sold some more. So we probably sell a couple of those a month, which really isn't too bad. We probably sell more of those than anybody else. Just like with the F-150, we probably sell more regular cab F-150s than about any dealer in the country. Just like the two-door Broncos.
Oh yeah.
How do we sell two-door Broncos? We get base two doors, cheapies, and then we turn it in and put those little packages on them, and people like the look of them, and they just and then they buy them. So, all right, and then I don't know if he's still in here, but hey Tim, you talked about the build and price not going live until production starts, but why are prior years still shown on build and price on some models still? Because inventory is left on some models. From what I understand, the build and price goes hand in hand with inventory. And so that's why maybe they wait for it to go live is when production starts. Then those vehicles then become available in the inventory. Same way why there's still 25 and 26 of those is because there's still inventory on dealer lots. So I've been told that as long as how when you can search inventory on dealer lots, that's part of the build and price from what I understand. So until inventory levels get to a certain number, then they drop off. That's why there's still, I don't know what dealers still have 25 model year on some of these vehicles, but we've been sold for a long time, but there are still dealers that, believe it or not, have 25 model year on some of these trucks and such. And so because of that, that's why the build and price on the 25 is still available, even though you can't build one anymore. Because like I said, I've been told it goes hand in hand with the search part of it. So anyway. But there you go. Yep. All right. By the way, I hate auto start stop on my Bronco. I do have an option for you if you want, and I have an install video. Sit Real makes one from Amazon. Go to my Amazon cart. I think I have it in there. I have an Amazon store link down below if you want. It's Amazon.com/shop/Ford video guy. And you can get to that shop. And in there, I do have the link to Sit Real's auto start stop deeliminator is what they call it, I think. And I have it on my Bronco. I've had it for quite a while. It was pretty easy to install. I did the install video. And it works flawless. When I start it up, it automatically deactivates the auto start stop. It's like instant. So anyway, all right. That's it for the questions, I think. Anyway. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. It's been a long one. Anybody that's still left, thanks for sticking along this long, and hope you guys did enjoy it. Until the next one, stay positive.
Be kind to one another.
Be kind to yourself.
We'll see you later.
Bye.